have been doing that in the past. But it is now time to finally find out as we head straight on into map number 1 between Playing Ducks and Vitality in the last match here of the European and North American totalized group stages to find out who heads over to our playoffs next week. Vitality are on attack and their lineup looks as follows. Glaz, Ash, Sledge, Hibana and Twitch, with the Playing Duck defense, Smoke, Mira, Jaeger, Valkyrie and Bandit.
We are going to see a karaoke defense from Playing Ducks, so nothing surprising there, just a typical site to defend. However, how they handle that is going to be the interesting thing to see. Playing Ducks bringing that Mira, going to try and, looks like they're going to be putting it in the B side. Wow, reinforcing the entire B wall. Now that's interesting. A lot of teams, what they'll do is they'll actually open up that back B wall to give whomever is playing in B some variety or some versatility, and that they can challenge the northwest stairs.
Well, now they can with the double mirrors. I was going to say, when we first saw her come out, a lot of people tried her on this map. Never really has too many places you can make a huge impact. There's some you can put for vision, but you can't really use. And now putting those side by side just gives a very safe way to challenge what you just said. In that A staircase, like we see, say, Cafe Freezer Wall, you put them side by side, you get a nice angle out.
And you can see also they were opening up the sides of those mirror windows on the not visible side, so that they give themselves a little bit more visibility looking into those angles, because they're also going to use that to deny the balcony doorway. That's going to be very useful.
But it also does require them to hold that A window very firmly, so you can't get shot in the back. So it'll be interesting to see where and what the push comes in from Vitality, because of course they have this Glaz who can dominate that window if left unchecked. Meanwhile, they are spreading their spawns out across the entirety of the map, taking all the outside cameras and making sure there's no funky hijinks going on. But the Playing Ducks defense has Zoronic in that staircase, Lackey inside the AT room, Meepy inside B. Smart Smoke can hold this entire A side with the windows and his grenades more or less single-handedly for a while. Snooken over in the Geisha room and Renewal's out there in Drum.
Snooken's going to be trying to bandit trick that Geisha room, and Vitality is going to be his, enemy is going to be his adversary to try and disable those bandit charges, and open up the wall for Hibana.
So Hibana there was shooting those charges on the wall of the B bomb site, trying to open an angle in towards where Bandit is sitting in Geisha, but because Smoke's in here, he was able to shoot all the charges down and take away one of those 3 Hibana shots. Nice peek from Zoronic right as the grenade comes out, but he's immediately traded back by Rise. Panics is down though. That is the sledge of the table. Jaeger down, but he's got his trophy system down. Zoronic peeks around the corner and will fall to Rise without doing any serious damage. So Jaeger and Valkyrie both out of the picture, with Drum seriously in Vitality control now. This is going to allow them to cut off Snooken's position. He's going to be very much pinned inside Geisha now, and he may be the next target to fall.
So Vitality just setting themselves in good positions to pick off the anchors, while Ash pushes her way through Drum, trying to take down the roamers and establish control and pivot the last defending operators stuck into the site.
So Meepy smoke grenading towards that A staircase, keeping LMs locked down the stairs, but Vitality have time to spare here, so they can just wait for them to time out, and then they'll all push elsewhere when he's ready. Lackey's got an angle trying to watch that direction. The Hibana charges are going towards the window, and there it is. Snooken gets singled out and cut out by enemy this time. Now they can start to focus their attention back away from that side of the map. One P-Ducks player in each bomb site. LMs is underneath, making some holes in the floor underneath. Meepy, who switches over towards the window, looks away at the wrong second. Revan bolts in and takes him out, and it's all on Lackey, who can't even get a single bit done. Rise with a 3K in this round, shuts out Playing Ducks.
So Vitality, all they really did there is they just kind of encompassed the Playing Ducks defense. They took down the roamers upstairs or downstairs and through Drum, and then had a player on every single window and every single avenue into the sites themselves, and pushed it in unison, and that was pretty much the end of the round.
Yeah, nothing from Playing Ducks there was particularly new or fancy.
No, not at all.
You could see the idea, you could see how they tried to protect Snooken and Geisha, you could see how they had Smoke holding the A staircase, but none of those positions was defensible enough on its own.
And at the same time, I mean, those are clever ideas, but they're kind of gimmicky ideas that don't actually, they aren't, I don't know, they just seem kind of like stuff we've seen before. Hopefully, Playing Ducks will have a special attack strat going into this Geisha hold, though. Or sorry, this tea room karaoke room hold. And we are seeing, it looks like the same exact mirror is probably going to be coming out from Vitality. So maybe not, actually, oh yeah, looks like one of them is going to be going into the Geisha room.
Interesting thing from Vitality, though, is that they are bringing both the Smoke and the Echo themselves here. So
all the disruption.
Yeah, looking for all that disruption and time wasting again. And with the amount of focus going on Geisha here, they will, I imagine, be looking to put either one of these, Smoke or Echo, up to the Echo drone, up towards the A staircase to be that hold of that flank. In case the push starts to come from this direction, Echo can sit in a safe spot and hold it off for the team to rotate back through.
Looks like Playing Ducks is setting themselves up to take from the east to the west and clear out the roamers, similar to what we saw from from Vitality on that from the same exact attack.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
They spawned all over the place, taking out each camera and start to drone and push each section of the map themselves.
Trying to encompass the Vitality defense in the same fashion. It looks like the setup is also very similar from Vitality to the Playing Ducks setup on this defense.
Yeah, they do have that Jaeger inside drum room as well. Panic's inside Geisha on Bandit. Smoke is playing close to the B site, but has a rotate hole he can bolt through to get into it. Revan, meanwhile, inside of the T room. The only one a little bit different is Alem's hiding inside the back of A with his Echo drone towards the staircase. Zornik, though, on Glaz doing just like we saw Vitality do earlier on. Once they found out where these players are, you start to circle it, spray it down from many angles, and unsurprisingly, the Jaeger is picked up.
Yeah, that was a nice angle from Zyronic from the window up onto drum, getting down that Jaeger.
He's also using a similar angle there, rappelling in towards the backside of B, which is where Smoke sat when Playing Ducks left him there, which is one reason they had it reinforced and had the mirror windows on it. But Vitality not choosing to stay so tight in that corner.
And Playing Ducks now, they've done exactly what Vitality did to them on the previous round. They've encompassed the Vitality defense. Unfortunately for Playing Ducks, though, there is one more man up in this instance. There is one less roamer down, and they have only 1 minute 20 seconds to execute this attack. And no guaranteed line into the site other than what's just been opened by Ash here.
So Ash charge going off on the floor underneath Revan to push him back from that mirror window, shoots it open for good measure, and Renewals will now be able to challenge it and push up the staircase. Revan is back behind the bomb. LMs is still in there on his drone for a little bit longer. It comes off of it now. The diffuser has been dropped in that A staircase or a balcony. Blackbeard is trying to push this angle, but Zeronic is on the far side of the B site, spraying open holes in the wall, looking towards the backside of A. They still haven't managed to get Panicked out of Geisha. The idea is still here from Playing Ducks, but they aren't as fast at executing it as the Vitality opponents were, and they still can't get this Bandit out of Geisha. 40 seconds to go. Still not quite ready to push more aggressively up here as they are still repelling a few outside. Zeronic takes down enemy as he leaps aggressively into B. Does get taken out from the other side by Revan, but they may have done the damage needed as we do start to see the push coming up from Renewals, but he's changed his mind and gone back down now. Meepy goes on in there, try and shake out the Bandit. He's pushing through again. Renewals is looking for an angle on him. He does get flanked by Meepy this time, but Meepy will be shut out by Elems, who gets a double onto Lackey as well. 2v2 all of a sudden. Elems and Revan both tucked inside the A site. Renewals has an angle to cut them off, but he's got to get that kill onto Echo, otherwise that plant won't go through. He finds him, takes him out. Revan is there to try and trade him out, but can't finish him. He runs out of ammo. Does get the hip fire down. It is a 1v1 now. Snooken inside the B site, and he knows this because of the plant. Revan pushing forward with that Vector in hand, looking for an angle on him. Sees him now through the doorway. Snooken knows exactly where he's sitting now on the edge of that site. C4 comes out, the peak goes round. Snooken is shut down with that C4 throw. Revan gonna get the defuse, and 2-0 up go Vitality.
A great and similar defense from Vitality and a similar attack from Playing Ducks. Both these teams playing very much the same. And this is not what we were expecting to see going into Skyscraper. Playing Ducks bringing this there to bring it to Skyscraper, thinking that this is our map. We've practiced it the most. We must have some interesting strats to go here, but it's just kind of 1-1 here. Oh, well, not 1-1 in terms of score, but 1-1 in terms of similarities. Vitality, though, they're being a little bit more concise with their attacks and their defenses. And unfortunately, Playing Ducks, they weren't able to, again, in that last round, they weren't able to pick off as many of the roamers as Vitality had.
Yeah, they couldn't shut that Bandit out of Geisha, and as a result, they couldn't push in through that drum room, they couldn't push in through that staircase of the corridor like the Vitality attack did. So, see if Playing Ducks choose to move their mirror windows around a little bit more. Snooken needs that little bit extra vision, really, to be able to play effectively in that corner.
Yeah, and that did help out the Vitality Bandit on that last Geisha hold, that having that mirror gives them a lot of versatility. And looks like they're probably going to use the same double mirror going into this particular site, though.
They're using at least one, that's for sure. We'll see if the other one gets placed there or if it gets moved to somewhere else in a moment. Nope, they're going with it the same old. So clearly they have something in mind for why it didn't work. They think they know it, so let's see if they can execute it better instead. Renewals admittedly did die very early on after getting that sledge trade in drum room. Maybe they think if he just stays alive longer, they'll have a better shot, but he's not going to get the easy sledge kill this time like he did before, so...
Not only from both these teams are the roamers getting picked off really easily, but also both of the smokes playing in the B haven't been able to do anything so far. Glaz just vaulting in through the window through his own smokes and getting that easy pick onto the smoke sitting in the corner. I mean, he hasn't been able to gas grenade himself in there, hold it, or delay it.
Running spawn peeking.
Nope, not gonna work.
They were coming up that staircase, an aggressive start from Playing Ducks. This clearly seems to be their difference. They've gone for a pulse instead. They've gone for renewals on Jaeger still, but not playing in drum. They are playing very aggressive and mobile downstairs. Yeah,
they want that roamer game to go into their favor, which is just not what we've been seeing from both of these teams. A lot of the times when it's just been one roamer or two roamers playing around drum or on the east upper level of the building, it just hasn't worked out for them. But now they're playing full underneath.
All right, Heartbeat Sensor calling out that position of two, can you see? Yeah, two players, there we go, on the west balcony. Renewals is just down there watching Pulse's back, making sure he is safe to keep feeding this heartbeat sensor information across.
And this information is going to be very important for Bandit, given that he doesn't have that same exact mirror window looking out through Geisha.
One mirror did just get opened, I think. I heard it by smoke, but as it is, he's still being pinned in the corner now by this glass. Meepy can't sit in the very deep corner like he did before because he knows he's exposed from underneath. Vitality are aware of that play, so he has to play somewhere slightly different now, and he's got less room to move. Renewals and Zoronic still running around underneath, just heartbeat centering and looking for spots, but Panics is sledging open the window. Renewals is going to peek for it, and actually gets away with the kill, so it's a good start for Playing Ducks again, but they'd had that before. They, however, did lose that advantage thanks to a very quick trade back away from them, and Vitality haven't got that this time. So they're keeping that man advantage for a bit longer, and they have definitely slowed down this Vitality attack. Minute 30 on the clock, and they are nowhere near as far in as they were before.
Loading new magazine.
Random pre-fire through the wall from Revan, trying to get a little bit of luck in here. This time the Playing Ducks players are far safer in the spots they have chosen to hold. Meepy is looking for aggressive peeks here and there, and he gets a great shot on the enemy's head as he strafes round and leans the wrong way. Revan continues to smoke off this side. More shots spray past his head from Bandit, pray him off for a little bit longer. LMs comes in underneath, has taken out Renewals now, so they started to shut down the roamer game. They're bringing Ash up here with them as well, but they weren't ready for the second one. LM's going up and around there without his ADS in. That's a strange lapse in concentration, but now Pulse is fighting Rise and wins it. Last man is going to be Glaz leaping in through B. He does the same thing he did before, but this time there's plenty of people left to shut him out, and Playing Ducks are on the board. That is what they wanted to do in their first defense.
That was a great defense there on the, from Playing Ducks. They got aggressive, like you said, on the roamer game, and they actually made it work for them. 1 minute left on the clock, and the Vitality were still chasing down those roamers, and they only managed to trade 1 for 1. As well as the smoke, he did work in B this time. Sure, he again got vaulted in by the glass, which has happened every single round so far. However, he managed to get kills before that, so he at least traded himself back. So a great defense from Playing Ducks, and now Vitality are going to be going down to Barbecue for the first time this map.
Yeah, and it changes up the attacking operators.
Attackers need to locate.
Yeah, we are seeing a Blackbeard, Glaz, and a Buck, which is kind of an interesting pick going into the side. It rarely makes you think that they're going to be going for that vertical control, trying to take control of upstairs, push their way down. Now, are they going to try and take Geisha, push their way through delivery, which is what we've seen time and time again from many of these teams, or are they going to go for an A-take this time?
That is a good question. The A-take can provide some very long angles for Glaz to sit in and hold, should he wish to use that long-range rifle and the smoke grenades.
It's also overall just a complete variation of what we've seen on Skyscraper. Almost every single time, the way that someone will try to take Barbecue is establish control of Geisha, which is this room you see right here. Once you have Geisha, you're free to plant anywhere in B, kitchen, and there's nothing the defenders can really do to stop you in that instance. So who knows? Maybe they're going to try and mix it up. Maybe they're going to try and go for the old faithful strategy of taking Geisha control.
As it started out, we saw aggressive peeks from LM's Echo and a ready Meepy there to receive it. Neither player taking any serious damage, but that threat now slowed down a little way. So Vitality fallen back into their defensive positions, ready for the attack to come through. Echo drone right up on the roof, way above the drum room window. Got a good sight line on what coming in from that angle. So Onyx staying on the ground floor is looking through the windows towards the ace site, looking across the bottom of the staircase out towards LM's position at these desks. LM sees him and wins the fight. Zoronic will fall.
It's interesting that chose to use their glass to challenge that angle when they have a Blackbeard and didn't even smoke it.
Blackbeard was busy pushing upstairs, and well, his pressure has helped take out enemy. Snookum bringing that kill out, and now they can continue to focus up on towards Geisha. Banix takes more damage through the wall as the push comes in from that buck, but up the staircase now Jaeger has tried to come up and back him up. Didn't do any serious damage and does just have to run away. Alemzo comes up the back staircase and Dow shuts down Renewals. Now Ryza peeks back up, chase out Meepy. So the flank and the protection here onto that bandit is working out until that grenade comes off from Snookum. However, Snookum and that one last Hibana here, Lackey, are still standing. Could still get the work done here. Elements is low. Jaeger has taken a bit of damage. They need to find them and clear them out. Elements behind that desk. And they do have the hole made above the floor, but he didn't quite see him through it and allows him to up and run away. Deeper in, sees him now, gets the shots off and will secure that kill. 2v2 then, at minute 15 to go. Rise low as he peeks up towards that north staircase. Falls back in towards the A site. Again, the floor above him here is completely destructible. If they can find him, Buck could still get some work done. Still a minute to go. They don't have 100% knowledge on where that Valkyrie is right now, but that Hibana hole will help out finding this Jaeger. They are making more holes above his position, but they haven't quite seen him yet. Lackey watching the flank as they will drone using Snookum's last remaining gadget. 45 seconds on the clock, and they've got the time to play with this. Now he's going to should have spotted that Jaeger there, and sees that shot come from behind him. So there he goes. He's looking down through that hole in the floor. He knows roughly where Jaeger's sitting. Couldn't quite see his feet. Had that angle on the corner. Lackey spraying through one way. More holes being made up as he tries to find this Jaeger, but with every second that he takes trying to find it, they're running out of time to plant. Revan still holding firm by that staircase as 20 seconds starts to tick down. They are heading down directly above Valkyrie's head. She could go for a double here. They've got the flank looking across here from inside the bomb site by Jaeger, who does get a good shot through the wall onto Snookum. Lackey comes around and Rise gets the second as well to hold out for another defensive win for Vitality.
Playing Ducks, they traded in their favor when they were hunting down those roamers, but unfortunately because that glass got taken out so early without doing any work at all, their pushing power going into the final moments of that round were at a man, well, even, but just no opportunities pushing into the sites themselves. No open drop downs, no real control.
Just couldn't find that Jaeger in those final few seconds.
As well as, the defenders just playing themselves really scarcely. They're not putting themselves in any sort of position, like underneath the drop down in Geisha, or in any sort of exposed area.
So, time for Vitality to go back onto the attack. Now that they know they will not be attacking that upper floor, their attack lineup is working in a Thermite. This, to me, focuses on a very more traditional A take, that barbecue take. Takes the wall open right here where Renewals and Meepy is just standing now. Take Geisha, plant in B, big ass wall hole.
Right.
Yeah, nice and down.
A lot of that strategy can be done straight from the balcony, which means it's very contained, and you don't have to deal with that roamer game nearly as much. You don't have to worry about somebody coming from behind, as you're simply taking control of Geisha and then pushing into the site. There's not really much anyone can do to stop you when it's coming from those outside walls.
A couple of quick claymores and you are protected.
Right.
So, playing Ducks' defense, well, has a couple of familiar-looking rotate holes from back when we saw this in the previous seasons and at the Invitational. Gives a nice angle all the way across from these fallen over tables in towards the entrance to the B site. A lot of reinforcements, though, still being used on these floors below, on the downstairs location, not up top. Snookum just goes up there now, which means this Geisha room still going to be largely exposed to attack.
Uh-oh. It's ironic, missing a cam on accident there, getting it down, and eventually though, that is going to be a very predictable cam, likely not going to help them too much. Vitality will probably see it. Vitality setting themselves up around delivery, looking to push in and get the plant down. Thermite is, however, also on the west side of the building, looks like, and he will be, as you said earlier, likely opening up that wall directly into the site itself. Or rather, he is not. He is, sorry, on the south side of the building with his teammates looking to push in through delivery. So it's probable that they're going to open up the wall straight from delivery into bar and try to get rid of Zyronic, who is playing in that bar area, and then just push them way into the site as enemy takes control of Geisha.
So the Vitality push is this entire floor. They do start to open a couple of trapdoors on their way through because it just gives them an option to quick rotate down later on as and when needed, and keeps their options open. Panics, though, is picked off quickly by Snookum, playing aggressively here with an angle towards drum. Renewal's then going to use that cover to back away to safety. Now they've already picked up one attacker. They can afford to be a little more cautious and a little more defensive here, because that man advantage, providing they can keep their trades up, will help them win this round on its own. Heartbeat sensor from Lackey underneath is just watching in and around the lower area to B, but we know Vitality are pressuring hard up top. The players are downstairs, but they're currently just droning and scouting out. Renewals now is holding this same angle. Alems is going to be cautious heading towards it, but stays in.
These angles that Playing Ducks have set themselves up for are very nice. Some of them we haven't actually seen very much of before in the past. And this is sort of what they were talking about in that interview, where they've got little tricks up their sleeve on these normal defenses.
Thermite charge went off there from delivery, and they're pushing their way through with all these smokes. Revan leading the charge, but the heartbeat sensing pulse is on the other side of that wall, and he's going to have an idea. C4 comes out, does blow, but doesn't do any serious damage to anyone. He's looking now towards the backside and can't quite land it. Lackey sprints away. Trapdoor above is sealed by the looks of it, which means he's actually safe to push in here. Meepy over the far side. Alems will take down Renewals. Lackey comes around and wins the fight with the glass. Looking for another one, but he's not there yet. He was upstairs and Zeronic kills him off. Rise is gone. Meepy peeking on that staircase shuts down Alem's push, and enemy is now alone against 4. He's got 35 seconds to go, and he's going to run straight into the Jaeger here. Doesn't fall just yet, but smart play from Renewals. Just runs straight. Sorry, no. Jaeger is snooking, then he runs straight away to safety. Even though they have a 4v1 advantage, he is playing this very safe and making sure they can secure this round. 20 seconds to go. Enemy doesn't have the diffuser. He is pinned upstairs, and he's waiting and watching for these flanks to come out from Playing Ducks. But they are happy to just sit back and watch the round blow out. Snookin does fall down there as he comes down the main north staircase and heads towards the bomb site. The pre-fire is coming around the corner, and a vault over from Meepy shuts him down and out to put the round score at 3-2.
Vitality, they had a good idea on that strategy there. It's a little bit old hat, but they had an idea going into it. They just simply could not take control of Geisha, and as soon as you can't take control of Geisha on a delivery take, the round is pretty much forfeit. Even more so when they were pushing themselves into the kitchen, even though the drop-down was not open, they could not win their trades. We need a rehost, apparently?
Apparently so.
Okay, connection problem from Panics, apparently. So we will be going for a rehost.
Either way, that's for the admins to decide.
Oh yeah,
we will sit there and look back.
We'll find out exactly what's happening.
Yeah, that is. We'll focus back on that last round because it was a great defense from Playing Ducks there. Well, it was nothing crazy new. It was nothing crazy different.
Well, those angles that we saw from Geisha.
Yeah, so like the general gist of it was the bomb site's below. You hold Geisha above with a couple of roamers. You use Pulse to watch that corridor and look after its own. That we've all seen. But you say slightly new angles, slightly different peaks, helping them pick off a couple of surprise kills.
Right. Yeah, that angle from the hallway, looking all the way through through drum into what looked like garden. Yeah. That was incredible, and getting that sledge picked off early, that means that there was no flank potential at all onto Geisha, so all the Bandit really had to worry about was getting his wall secured, and because of that, they couldn't take control from vertical, and even though the drop-down wasn't open, which was kind of interesting, pushing into the site, the Glaz was unable to pick off any of the anchors, so...
Which I've got to say, maybe a bit lucky on Playing Ducks' side. If Lackey had fallen as he was sprinting away in that first shot, and then Glaz would have had full control over that site, things would have been very different, because the players upstairs were a Bandit and a Jaeger, no shotguns. They couldn't have opened the trapdoor themselves.
Yeah.
Meepy would have been locked out of the site by the Glaz who was in there, so he couldn't have opened it for them with his shotgun.
Yeah, there was a smoke, but he was not in a good position to do exactly that.
So yeah, if Lackey had fallen there or not won that firefight with the Glaz, things could have gone very differently for Playing Ducks, but he got the kill and they worked out.
You could say lucky, but you could also say that it was Glaz's fault because he was pushing through by himself without any smoke cover at all. He was all the way exposed, so it was kind of just a little bit of an overextension on Vitality's part, and it ended up costing him the round. But again, I think it mostly came down to Geisha, lack of Geisha control. I mean, a lot of that strategy on that defense pivots around Geisha, and if you can take control of it, you pretty much dominate the round, unless the defenders are really masters at retaking in that instance.
Yeah, the other small thing that if it had all gone played through that way with the sledge dead and with Habana being pressured and elsewhere, there's actually no one on the attacking team to open up that trapdoor in Geisha at the point of which they could have got through. I mean, there was opportunities, there's ways to do it. There's like, they've got plenty of things, grenades or Habana, like whatever, but it's that extra couple of seconds required, right? Like, you have your plan in place, you have all your operators where you want them to be, and okay, Sledge will take control of that and you'll punch it open. He dies, that does force a different change in you, and it may be 10 seconds here or there, but that can sometimes make or break a round.
The strategy overall does get mixed up a little bit when you have a plan, like, for example, sledging open the drop. I don't think they expected to have to open the drop at all, and I think that's maybe something that Playing Ducks were factoring into their strategy, thinking, okay, well, they know they're going to try and take control of Geisha, all right? We know they're going to try and take control of Geisha. We don't have to open the drop down for them, similar to how we see that castle barricade work in Chalet on the on the kitchen defense.
Yeah.
We don't have to open it up for them because they won't have the utility necessarily to open it themselves. So we leave it unreinforced. We just focus on our anchors holding the site, and we try to pick them off as they push their way into Geisha. So it kind of seems like Playing Ducks maybe laying a little bit of a trap for Vitality on that particular defense.
Yep, as it is, though, they are still a round down. It is 3 rounds to 2 in favor of Vitality at the moment. They will be back onto defense, though, once we get on into here. Where are they going to go? Well, it's up to them. They've got multiple bomb site options to choose from, if memory serves. And what we've seen from them so far is pretty standard, pretty familiar.
From both of these teams, it's been pretty standard. I mean, from Vitality, a little bit more old hat. We are seeing some slightly more innovational things from Playing Ducks, but only slightly. And they are both.
They won Barbecue Kitchen, didn't they?
Yes, Vitality did win Playing Ducks did just now.
Just now, and then the round before.
Yeah, Vitality did. Yeah, no, definitely.
So yeah, they're not completely open, but we'll be back to Geisha.
Yeah, they'll be back to Geisha. They're used to Tea Room, so I mean, it's a site that they're going to be able to handle pretty easily. I mean, for both of these sites, I feel like they're both extremely defensible, and neither of these teams are going to have problems on their secondary site. This isn't Clubhouse. We're not going to a bar where you're a little bit more exposed. Which is interesting, even on bar. Never mind, that doesn't matter. We are getting everyone back into the lobby again here, so just a little bit of your patience, please. But yeah, on both of those sites, on Skyscraper, I feel like they're extremely defensible. I feel like there's a lot of options going into either of them. And I do like the way that Playing Ducks was trying to hold that barbecue. It was something slightly different, although deceptively so. It doesn't seem anything new or special, but you could see, if you look really closely, the way they were laying out that trap for Vitality.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing to go with. And, well, now that Vitality are back in defending that upper floor, we've seen, as you mentioned before, every single time a Glaz has just smoked, jumped in through B, and taken out the smoke hiding in the site.
Every time.
That needs to stop.
How does that work, even?
Yeah, it shouldn't happen.
It's happened 3 times now, and then we've defended Geisha 3 times, or I say Geisha, we always say, but Tea Room. We've defended Tea Room 3 times for both of these teams, and every single time the Glaz has vaulted through, killed the smoke in the corner, and it's been because he's looking away, he's reloading, he's in the middle of throwing his smoke, whatever the case be, he does not have his gun or his smokes detonated or what have you, to stop somebody from vaulting through that window. It's like the perfect timing. It's weird. It's eerie. And it's probable that that is going to stop. The first round that we saw Playing Ducks win that upstairs defense was when Smoke actually did a little bit of work, managed to get 1 pick out through that window before going down. So if the Smoke starts to influence the round a little bit more from the Vitality side of things, going into this next upstairs defense on their side, it's likely that we'll see them win another Geisha defense.
Yeah, which is what Playing Ducks need, of course, here to level it out 3 rounds to 3.
Yeah.
But there is still time and still options here for Vitality. They have shown that while they may not have picked this map and they may not have put all their time and training into this map for this, they have enough raw knowledge of it and they have enough experience playing as a team that they can still put up a very strong fight.
What I'm seeing from Vitality isn't necessarily like map knowledge per se. It seems like they just have synergy. Like they have a lot of energy going into their attack strategy, but they aren't really entirely sure exactly what they're dealing with when it comes to Playing Ducks. And I feel like that's why Playing Ducks won that last round. And I feel like that's going to be working to Playing Ducks' advantage going into these future rounds. The Playing Ducks, they had a shaky start, but they're starting to show a little bit more of a strength on this particular map. So hopefully their knowledge will shine through and give them a better position going against Vitality's pure synergy and teamwork.
Yeah, once you've felt out when a team has a strategy planned in and when a team comes in and trains on a map, of course, Playing Ducks have been playing for a while and they've got these ideas and they've got, right, these are our strategies and this is what we do if things go wrong. Vitality come in and they're like, okay, well, we know each other and we know the map roughly and we'll go in and throw what we've got. As soon as things start to go a little bit different to what you expect, like those new peak holes, you start to fall apart because you can't think up on the fly as well with these options. You haven't got the fresh experience on it. This is now where Playing Ducks should shine out. They should have it all in their mind. It should be more fresh and clean for them. So these quicker on-the-fly adjustments to what Vitality are doing should be easier for them to throw out. But they're doing it from the back foot. They're down 3 rounds to 2, and we'll see now whether or not they can do that as we load back into game. So with the 3-2 scoreline, with Ducks already being the underdogs, with them already looking to climb back up onto this, the pressure is mounting, but knowing them and knowing their attitudes, that's not going to be a factor here.
No, I think that Playing Ducks is historically a very calm team, and going into this matchup, they seem to be just that, calm, because they managed to bring themselves back into the game when they were at such a deficit. So hopefully that's going to work out for them again. Going into this next attack, maybe they'll get another pick onto the smoke without him doing anything. We'll see.
Yeah, if they're lucky. They're up to the karaoke tea room, as we suspected. The operators are...
There's no bandit going into a tea room
bringing a
defense.
pulse instead.
This is interesting. A lack of a bandit means that Playing Ducks, if they so choose, are going to be able to freely open up the wall into Geisha and thus fully control Geisha. I'm guessing Vitality, what they're going to try and go for is having that pulse play underneath in kitchen, maybe try to bait them in there and get that C4 kill from underneath.
Yeah, let them into B. As I said, that reinforcement that LM's just did before we saw his stats come up blocks the spray from the A door in towards the site. Now that's where we saw, okay, the last round the attackers lost, but Glad still vaulted in, still killed the smoke, and then was picked off from that A spray, from the mirror spraying in from the A side through that wall to take it down. That can't happen anymore. So that reinforcement being there, to me as a Glaz, without thinking or droning downstairs, probably thinks, oh, I'm actually even safer to jump in here than previously. I can drone in and check there's no one in it directly, and I feel more comfortable coming in. And now they've actually given me a nice little spot to go in and plant in this corner. And there's a pulse underneath.
I mean, we'll see what exactly happens, but it looks like Vitality, they're trying to do their adaptation where they play a little bit of a heavier roamer game.
Yeah, they're doing exactly what Playing Ducks did on their last successful defense of this floor. They've run a Pulse and a Jaeger downstairs.
But they negated their Bandit for it, which is just kind of an interesting decision. I can't tell if it was calculated in that they're trying to forfeit Geisha, or if that was simply a mistake in operator selection.
And to be fair, their current placement, there's actually no attacking operators anywhere near that to do anything about it.
True, true.
Enemy hiding underneath this window, looking for an opportunity to shoot up through and surprise someone. Isn't going to get Enemy, who runs straight on past without being... Sorry, Lackey isn't going to get him without seeing him yet.
Trying to find that a camera.
But it's already been killed down.
Yeah.
As it is, he'll head back this way. Zeronic spraying out through different angles. The drones are coming into B, but I don't think they saw... Yeah, they didn't see smoke in this corner. Couldn't get all the way through, but it will come up, jump over the wall. Yes, he saw him that time, tucked in that edge. Blackbeard now looking to pressure through the A wall, but needs to be careful of this pulse from behind. He has got the right idea. Will he know about panics over by the garden location? He could do a lot of damage here if he peeks out here at the right moment. As it is, he's going to keep his head in, and Blackbeard is still cautious of the area.
Probably.
Playing Ducks push with 1:30 to go is starting to shape up towards the actual karaoke room again. But as you said, without these roamers being cleared out from below, Pulse could do serious damage. And he is now rotated to being underneath the site.
Yeah, so playing that aggressive roaming game outside on the east side of the building. Trying to get those picks early. Didn't work out for him, but now that he's back, he's going to be able to influence the round severely on this last bit of the round.
Going in, sprinting straight in, takes enemy down straight from inside the site. Leaps through the holes being made by the defense. Looks for Revan now, sprays it through and takes him out as well. LMs is still in the back of the A site. Meepy's going to use this time to reload it up. Rise has peeked out and taken out Snooken. LMs though takes out Meepy. Renewals quick trades back onto Rise, and it's just Panics and LMs left. LMs is low health, but there's 3 attackers to go, and LMs will fall to Zeronic through the wall. Panics is below, throws his C4 up, but Renewals is there as soon as he peeks, and an explosive round for Playing Ducks puts them at 3-3.
What a collapse and an entry by Meepy. That was fantastic round by him. He simply, well, he ashed the barbed wire and then just ran into the site. Nobody tried to stop him. Those 2 roamers being off site weren't able to influence the round at all. And then again, that smoke getting picked off without doing any work whatsoever. Oh man, that was a great play by Meepy.
Yep, saw an opportunity and sprung on it. Those north stairs being exposed. The players inside A looking in the slight wrong direction.
There was just nobody watching. Yep. There was no one covering that entire flank. They were relying entirely on a single piece of barbed wire to hold it in of itself, and that's not going to work. That's not going to fly. Meepy, as you said, capitalizing on that, making it work for his team, and now it's 3-3, and they've brought it back to an even match.
And this is exactly what we said, right? These small mistakes, these small adjustments Vitality are going to be imperfect through lack of practice. And Playing Ducks are the team that practice, you'd hope, will then be able to jump on them and play around it and exploit them. And that's exactly what we just saw there from Playing Ducks from Meepy. He made that split-second decision. He was like, I'm going to ash this and sprint straight on in. Get ready for them to peek from here, 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 and here, because they know those positions. and they were ready then there to trade back and to fight and get those kills where needed.
Right, and that is a nice angle coming out from Zyronic. The smallest possible hole, but gives you full visibility on the Geisha window. That's fantastic. He's going to be able to support his bandit so well via that. But yeah, no, if you missed it, Playing Ducks, they did say they were the ones that were going to be bringing these small pocket strategies and maps to this matchup, and they are showing just that so far on this Skyscraper. Again, a map that is not very commonly played in the European meta. And they're, you know, Vitality, they've been fighting tooth and nail for it, but they clearly have not practiced as hard.
But it is still 3-3. It is all to play for both squads, and Vitality are a very skilled lineup in their own right.
Absolutely.
Could bring this back. They do start to drone the floors below, and this time get a sight onto that pulse early on. Pre-fire coming through some windows from Rise, make sure he's not aggressively coming on up. Panics drops through the hatch as soon as he breaks it open this time. And he will hear Zyronic on this heartbeat sensor. Zyronic, will he have seen him? No, he's looking too high here.
Oh,
I think
he just saw him.
He sees him now, comes around the corner, but the SMG-11 wins out. Zyronic will die, but a down only on Panics. Renewals is down here with him, though. Rise is looking for him. He knows there's likely to be a second one, so he's not going for the revive yet. Smart play from Renewals, backing up and running away instead. He opens up that door, Renewals is waiting close by for him, and he does get that kill instead, so he helps the trade just a little bit elsewhere. Meanwhile, Smoke is down, very low health upstairs, but alive still. We'll see whether or not he can keep it that way, because of course his smoke charges could be pivotal in the dying seconds of this round. He is, of course, inside that B side, as we've seen time and time again. Meanwhile, downstairs, Renewals is still playing hide and seek with Panics and Rise. We'll see how long that lasts and whether or not he can do any more damage to these pair. They have chosen to start pressuring the site from this angle now. Comfortable with it later on. Snooker trying to use the drone hole to shut down a little bit of damage here onto Blackbeard. Tagged him up, but nothing serious, and now has to focus back on Drum as the call comes in. That Sledge is heading through this way.
A bomb has been located.
A couple of drones come on out. Bandit falls back inside the site, and the Drum room is in Vitality control. Minute 15 on the clock now. And the positions from Playing Ducks are starting to get a bit more fluid here, as they are setting up for this pressure to come out from Vitality, who have now immediately changed things up again. Renewals just ran outside downstairs, and he does take down Alems in the process. He's going to come back in through here, and Rise is waiting for him. The pre-fire's there. Rise, though, fails in the last second, and will fall to Renewals. Downstairs, Panics is still here. Renewals is ready for him in this direction, and Renewals is saved by Lackey, who's come down the north staircase. Great play from Playing Ducks, leaving Revan now alone against 4. He just about misses the backside of Lackey, pre-firing through that wall blindly, but now they know exactly where he is. Meepy, safe inside that B room, has stood up a little bit and is now focusing this direction. Lackey at the bottom of the staircase, he's got another angle on it, and he's got to come through all this barbed wire. Oh, not anymore. C4 takes it out for him. As he edges forward, though, Meepy is looking this direction. The smoke grenade will go off. Take Revan back outside again. 20 seconds to go. And he has the diffuser, but is being flashed by himself to slow everything down again. Inside the A site he comes, and Renewals gets another one for the round to round it out and put Playing Ducks on map point.
So that round was going strategically was going in favor of Vitality. They had cleared out the East Building roamers. They had established a circle around the Playing Ducks defense. However, Renewals with a fantastic run out, and then I'm amazed that he managed to get that second kill onto the Ash. I mean, Ash had every advantage in that situation, but he still made it work and brought his team into the lead now, 4-3 in favor of Playing Ducks. That was a fantastic round.
Yeah, Rise with that pre-fire towards, I mean, Renewals knew she was going to be coming, pre-fired towards the door. It just caused enough hesitation on her that she waited. Then she started shooting, didn't hit any shots because she didn't see him, stopped shooting, but then kept peeking, which was perfect for Renewals to then get a free headshot as he flicked his shot back around. Really, really well played. And then he was ready for the Sledge as well. Very smart by him.
And now we're going to be seeing Vitality defending Kitchen Barbecue. And this is, I think this one in their favor, if I recall correctly. No, this is the one that they actually meant. This is the one that they started the comeback on. Playing Ducks started their comeback on this particular site. Yep. And the way that they were handling this was, I actually can't recall.
No, sorry, Vitality did win this, but it was close. It was because Playing Ducks, they held control of the floor above with their buck, and they couldn't find that Jaeger down to the floor.
Yeah.
So Rise's Jaeger did a lot of work and was able to delay out that last 2v2 because they lost their Glad so early on. Now, I don't think Playing Ducks were expecting to attack this site here because they haven't brought anything close to that same attacking lineup.
5 seconds left.
Right. I mean, it's probably not going to hinder them too much on their attack. It depends on how they try to handle it. If they're trying to go for a clear out the East Building, move in, and take control above the site, then it probably will not hurt their attack too much. If they're trying to go for a delivery take, it might hinder them a little bit. We'll see. We'll find out.
As it was, Alems was going for an aggressive peek again, but they stayed hidden, and he is not getting anything from that. Now as he comes back across the gap, he's going to get spotted by Renewals, but
and you
none
can
of the
see
shots land.
They're putting the Blackbeard on this window instead of the Glass this time to try and make sure that Alems cannot influence the round whatsoever. He is going to actually be propelling up, though, now.
Looks like have him pinned in that position, so once they get control of the floor above, they might be able to do something with it. Rise is deep inside that T room right now.
I remember what happened now. Like, last time it was they established control upstairs, but it was 2-2 in the end, and the defenders just did not expose themselves at all.
Yeah, exactly. They couldn't get to that Jaeger through the floor, and they ran out of time. Meepy droning from Garden now is going to come up through Drum Room. He'll find enemy on the way. Rise deep inside T room has been droned a couple of times, but is pinned. Enemy starts to move down the staircase, while Panics is still inside Geisha. Renewals, though, is in through that A doorway and starting to peek and pressure the corridor. Vitality starting to adjust and look towards this direction, but are they ready for the pressure to come in from the karaoke room window as well, and from Drum Room, as there was Meepy's drone and Meepy close by to push as well. Minute 40 to go, though. Playing Ducks are taking their time with this. Flashbang's coming out to make sure there's no Jaeger systems or anything that will stop the barbed wire being killed, and then Meepy comes up with his Ash Charge to take out the barbed wire, which will allow Blackbeard to push through that corridor quickly and safely. They know Rise is in the backside of the A site. Blackbeard leaps on in. They have him pinned in the corner. Snooken's taking a bit of damage, and they do get Meepy straight in to kick him out. That's a good start. Panic's over in Geisha. He's getting droned in that way. He's missing the shot zone. They come round. Meepy will surprise enemy by getting past Panics early on, and Snooken shakes Panics out through the wall. Very quick attack here by Playing Ducks upstairs. They've only lost the glass conveniently downstairs as Alems picks off Zeronic. However, the hatch is now open in Geisha. Revan is underneath it. He may be able to get one. Meepy is there. He takes more damage but isn't dead. He's going to run away to a more safer attack push, but they know where that Valkyrie is now. She runs into the delivery. Alems, of course, they know him because he killed Zeronic over here, and Renewals is now pinning him into that toilet, completely out of the game right now, unless he can get past that Blackbeard. So all they have to do is find this Valkyrie, which Meepy's drone is looking for. Lucky looking down through the trapdoor. Snooken will head down over the balcony with that rappel to try and get the backside of Alems. He gets spotted by the drone, and he does peek back to actually take down Snooken. He's taken more damage, but a kill is a kill. Renewals now pressuring in towards the site as they know Alems is still pinned in here. 20 seconds to go. Lackey will finish him off. Now they just have to find Revan, who's spraying up through the Geisha hatch, and now they know exactly where she is. Upstairs, they have lost control of that Ash. Meepy is downed. Renewals coming across. He can see the planter. Renewals peeks around. He kills him, but didn't stop the plant. Lackey in a 1v1 now against Revan. Meepy is going to become a downed drone to spot for the position of Revan. They know exactly where he's sitting now thanks to that kill. He's up in Geisha above the hatch. Down he comes. 1v1 to Lackey. Remember, if Lackey wins this, is his map in the bag. C4 is going to go on the wall right next to the bomb itself. Give him an angle in. Instead, he comes around towards the bar. They're crouched on either side of the bar. They don't know the other one's here. Revan looks up, peeks over the top, vaults over. He's going to hear it. Lackey spins. A nice 180 flick to shut the round and the map out. 5 rounds to 3 in favor of Playing Ducks.
A little bit of whack-a-mole going on there between those last two remaining players. And while the glass did get picked off again from Playing Ducks early in that round and did not influence it at all, they didn't trade back with those roamers this time. They instead had the complete man advantage, and thus an extreme advantage going into their site push.
Which, to be fair, they needed. Even with a 4v3 or 5v2 rather, as it was before that glass fell down, they came down to the wire with that last second clutch there. If the Revan's Valkyrie realized that she had seen that Hibana in the corner, that would have been that round in the bag for Vitality. All he had to do was finish her after he finished off the Blackbeard. So it's a tough pill to swallow, but they did and ultimately lose out the round, and it went, of course, into Playing Ducks' favor. That means as we head towards our follow-up map, Border, another DLC one, we are looking like a Playing Duck advantage.
Yeah, no, and Border is a map that was picked specifically by Vitality, so it's probably going to be a little bit of a closer thing. And the thing to note here is that Vitality, they had a really good showing on this match. They just clearly did not understand the map itself nearly as much as Playing Ducks. Playing Ducks obviously put a lot more practice into specifically Skyscraper. So going into Border, Vitality's map, it's possible that they're going to be able to put up a much more dominant, performance here.
Just there again, didn't quite catch it.
So close, almost clutched out that last round. If he had won that, it would have brought it into overtime, but alas.
Indeed. As it is, we will of course get all the players back in the lobby because of course that rehost and whatever, and get ready for Border. Looking at what we've seen from Border over the past few weeks, from the new developments, from what Playing Duck said about having little pocket picks, little surprise strategies hidden up their sleeve, is Border one that has the potential for that? Are the
Yes.
other sites on Border actually playable?
Yeah, yes, very much so. We've seen from Dexterity, for example, in the finals they defended Tellers. We've seen actually a couple of teams try to defend Tellers. CTM, I think, brought it out once.
Yep.
And it is viable, technically speaking.
What about Customs?
Or what?
What about Customs?
Custom at the beginning of Borders coming out as a map, everybody thought Custom was the site to defend. We haven't seen it very much at all since, though, if I recall correctly.
Nope.
Maybe once or twice, but it doesn't seem like it's very much a defended site. It's impossible, though. Playing Ducks will do just that, try to bring us to that site. However, they didn't do any actual site variation on Skyscraper, which was what we were kind of anticipating.
Well, their site variation of Skyscraper was Skyscraper. Was it not?
Well, I guess
There
the
was
map
like,
itself.
we're going to surprise you with a bomb site you don't expect to see because it's an entire map you weren't
I
expecting.
mean, Vitality, they weren't especially prepared for the map strategically, but as a team themselves, they adapted well enough. I mean, it was a very close matchup, even though Playing Ducks, they clearly had that advantage of being on a map they're familiar with. So going into Border, I mean, I think it's going to be much closer. I think we're probably going to see overtime from both these teams. They're obviously, at the beginning it was Vitality with that explosive, charisma and aggression that was locking out those rounds for them. And then Playing Ducks, they got that same exact thing going back. I mean, I think it just took Playing Ducks a while to warm up in the later rounds of that map.
Yeah, definitely felt that you feel the confidence coming out of them, like those explosive plays from Meepy, those very quick pushing in through those 1-2 bits of barbed wire, just surprising people on their way through. But as we said, even those came down to some hairy moments, especially that last one, 5v2, and they very nearly threw it away.
Yeah, that was close.
So by no means was it perfect, and as you say, if that continues on through onto maps that Vitality are more comfortable on, this may very well go back and swing the other way here.
We have, however, seen so much so much variation on Border. It's one of those maps that is similar to Skyscraper, not very explored, there aren't a lot of strategies that haven't been refined or that have been refined on that particular map. So it's entirely possible we see something entirely new from Playing Ducks, which will throw Vitality through a loop, and they won't be able to adapt to, I don't know, what we're seeing. Who knows?
Yeah, so as we wait for the last player to join in, we of course have Border here, and if it goes in the favor of Vitality, if we go back to a 1-1 scoreline, we will be heading to Clubhouse as our third and final map.
Which is going to be an interesting matchup to see. I mean, well, we say it's one of the most refined maps in the Pro League, and it certainly is. Strategically, it's been poked and prodded to the point at which it's, kind of a dead horse. But at the same time, with the addition of, the changes, I guess, to Glaz and Mira being added to the pool, I feel like the bomb site on the basement and even upstairs has been changed a little bit. We've been seeing teams take control of construction tunnel a whole lot more and smoke out lines of sight with their Glaz. And who knows, maybe we'll see something new from Playing Ducks on Clubhouse if we get there. I mean,
Possible.
It's possible.
We saw some North American teams crack out some very surprising bomb sites.
Yeah, we saw a cash defense from Flipside, and it worked pretty well for them going up against, I think it was Most Wanted, or was it?
Yes, I believe so.
I believe it was Most Wanted. And yeah, that worked for them well. So who knows, maybe we'll see something similar to that, but that's only if we make it to the third map, and who knows, maybe Playing Ducks is very familiar with Border just as much as they are with Skyscraper.
Yeah, that's true. When it comes to, as you said, those surprise bomb sites, there are options there. The Tellers is played from some teams, and Customs is sort of an idea, but not really executed by much. But when it comes back to the two more standardized, more played bomb sites, they still have much of variety in them. We've still seen a lot of teams try very different things, both from attack and defense perspective. Things like the downstairs ventilation and workshop, we're seeing teams play in the bathroom with a rotate hole. We're seeing teams completely lock it off. We're seeing attacking teams take
Just
control of
walk
above
in through the
ventilation,
door.
block by hold of the roamers, but then switch it up and attack into workshop downstairs instead. Like there's a lot of different flicks that can be made.
Yeah, I mean on a ventilation hold, we've seen teams just normally what you'll see is an attacking team they'll say, okay, we have to establish complete control over armory in order to take ventilation so that we can deny them shooting, or the defenders shooting us from above. But sometimes what you'll see is just a Glass open up the wall, or a Habana if it's reinforced, open up the armory wall, what would be upstairs, establish those lines of sight onto the roamers upstairs, make sure that they can't influence the downstairs plant, and then simply walk in through the front door and plant. I mean, there's a lot of variation, as you said, going into both sites, and they are played similarly by defenders at that. Sometimes, or on ventilation, we'll often see the teams invest 2 or 3 roamers upstairs to try and hold it as if it is Armory, which is kind of an interesting interpretation of the site itself, which is actually, in an interesting twist, it's kind of the same thing that we're seeing on Skyscraper.
Yep. Yeah, exactly what I was hoping to get at. And while the strong Glaz Montaigne Meadows, what we started this season looking at, Montaigne really hasn't been a factor here. Glaz has, and we've seen some teams try and bring him from that east spawn and fire across the B bomb site upstairs and plant in the doorway. Pulses underneath have been a mixture in amongst that. But again, we've seen so many different attempts and so many different ideas with that, with both attackers leaving Blackbeards on the teller's roof and the Glaz outside, and then defenders with some aggressive peaks and aggressive cameras onto that bus. So many different adjustments just within the last 2 or 3 weeks of play.
Yeah.
So what these guys have up their sleeve could be very different again.
We've talked about this before, but I mean, with the way that the bracket is established in this particular Pro League, as contrast to like the previous seasons, is there's so much more at stake in each and every matchup, because you're talking about pure elimination going into each matchup. You can get knocked out of the Pro League in your entirety. So going into this, going into each matchup, you have to invest much more time and strategies on each of the maps you're thinking that you're going to end up on.
Yep, and that's exactly what this game is. Whoever loses this game is done here in the Pro League. That is their run finished. And right now, Playing Ducks, of course, have that 1-game advantage in hand. They won Skyscraper as we head here into Border, so they're going to be feeling a little bit better about their chances. But they, of course, cannot rest on their laurels, as this is Vitality's map. This is their chosen opportunity to swing it back their way. We do have all 10 players in the lobby, so I'm a bit confused as to what we're waiting on now, but it won't be much longer, as far as I'm aware.
They're having their team biscuits. We gotta give them time to relax.
Team Biscuits on Playing Duck side. Meepy, of course, being their team captain.
Yeah. Maybe with those big plays, he's decided to sit down and relax a little bit and share with his team. Probably. I mean, he did bring out a lot for his team on that last map. You have to wonder if Meepy had not been able to rush in with his Ash, and 2 of those instances specifically when they were attacking upstairs and barbecue. Had they have lost that, or they would have lost that map, because he pretty much won 2 rounds wholeheartedly for his team.
Yep. Exactly that. Either way, though, we are in. So it is border time here between Playing Ducks and Vitality. It is all or nothing here for Vitality. They have to win this map to keep their dreams of the Pro League here alive. Or Playing Ducks will be advancing next week to play up against #1 seed from Group A.
And we're seeing from Vitality, they're defending Armory first. That is as predicted. They are bringing Amira, Smoke, Jaeger, Bandit, and Pulse. On the attacking side, you have Playing Ducks. They are bringing in Ash, Glaz, Hibana, Blackbeard, and Thatcher. Glaz is, again, something that you were talking about earlier. It's been influencing the meta a whole lot more than what we were seeing with the previous Montaigne. And on a map like Border, Montaigne is not nearly as viable, given that it is so destructible, and C4 can be brought up from underneath. And with that Pulse, that's liable. We're likely to see that.
Looking at the attacking lineup we're seeing here from Playing Ducks, most of it pushes towards where we've seen A pushes in the past, bar the lack of a Thermite. The Blackbeard and the Glaz can take serious control over A through smokes and through just sheer gunplay and pushing people back and away from that. Allows an aggressive Ash, which Meepy Shoney likes to do, to brush on in there, gain a little bit of foothold, and plant the diffuser. But they're going to have a trouble getting through the wall because they only have a Hibana who can't make a very big hole in this. Meanwhile, could you look at this in B, perhaps?
Yeah.
Make a small hole in the office wall for Glaz to look all the way through from the balcony across in towards the backside of A's site. Blackbeard here on tellers on this window to shoot across any aggressive peaks, and then maybe have someone plant in the indestructible part to try and avoid the pulse.
Based on these spawns from Playing Ducks, it's looking like they're going for an A attack. But again, their lineup does not make sense for an A attack. The lack of a Thermite, as you talked about earlier, just really is going to hinder them getting into that A wall. There is Zyronic playing all the way on what I'm not sure, West Tower, I guess it's called. Never seen this position used before. Playing all the way on West Tower to try and establish a line of sight onto CCTV to mess with Rise's roam in that site.
Panix is in there too, and they do know this. The drones have been in and have spotted both roamers in this, and now it's a case of trying to figure them out. This is an angle all the way to the east stairs too. You can see that he is looking straight down through the center of the map from this spot. But now they have to deal with Panix and Rise in those corners. Yes, they've got them in there. They've located them, and they've sort of pinned them here with Glaz's position. But what do you do from here? Every second you waste is being burnt through. Meepy's drone does spot Rise dropping down through the hatch, and then Panix kills it off. But There's no one there to receive it. Panics drops down through as well. So they have got control of CCTV momentarily. They've still got to be aware of C4s from underneath, and they still got to kill these two somehow. As it is, 50 health has been lost from Meepy's Ash as Glaz starts to push towards the building. He isn't looking in the right directions. He thinks they're still over by the drop. Rise looking towards that door. Panics rotates back across to it just as Zornik heads on outside. And this is a game of cat and mouse with these roamers downstairs, which is not particularly clean for either squad at the moment. Interesting angle being made here from Meepy. Heartbeat sensor from Pulse is still looking to track some of these attackers, which with a minute 20 to go are running out of time to pressure each site. It does look like they're rotating around, and with these kill holes being made, they are looking to head towards the office push, towards B.
So interestingly, they're establishing dominance on CCTV before pushing office, which is just kind of backwards to what you expect in a take like this.
Renewals takes a bit of damage here from LMs, loses a shield, but nothing much more. They need to try and shift off this bandit, which means Snookun is going to head on around to the window. Lucky's drone gets spotted and killed off. Renewals peeks on around, loses a little bit more health, doesn't do any damage. He needs to wait here. Snookun's going to be at the window. LMs will take Meepy out quickly with a peek as he drops. I think he dropped through a hatch. No, he just stays behind that desk. Ducks inside the B site. Rise, meanwhile, has taken down Renewals from below as he peeked up that metal staircase and shot down the Blackbeard. So the attack here from Playing Ducks really hasn't got any teeth to it anymore. Vitality have picked them all off, and there's only 30 seconds to go. This is what we expect from Vitality. They are much more comfortable on this map, and they're just picking off Playing Ducks left, right, and center. As Playing Ducks are a little bit uncoordinated here.
Yeah, the Playing Ducks attack, unfortunately, a little bit of a jumble. They establish control over CCTV, but that's unnecessary in an office take when it really comes down to it. And thus, as they establish control over CCTV, they expose themselves in their flank to the roamers who they had not taken care of previously. So they put themselves in a precarious position unnecessarily going into an office take where you can just simply walk in through the balcony, especially considering Vitality. They failed to reinforce that office wall.
So, Armory Locker's defense then for Playing Ducks to go first. Heading on upstairs with a Smoke, Mute, Mirror, Castle and Bandit. Now Mute and Castle in this mix suggests a very heavy focus on the office location.
Yeah, that is likely.
So we shall see. Meepy on that Smoke. We have seen Smokes hold this A site on their own for quite a while. And he's going to have to do that looking at the attacking lineup. They are bringing themselves a Thermite and a Thatcher to get through that spot. Glaz to push and keep the A site under control. And then just straight up nice and easy plant locations. But with all this focus from Playing Ducks heading towards the office side, are they leaving themselves too exposed?
Well, they do have some utility being used on CCTV. It's going to be interesting to see where they actually play their anchors and roamers. They have that rotation hole being opened up by Meepy, as well as what seems like a double rotation hole. That's going to allow them to rotate not only from the hallway to CCTV, but from CCTV down into the lobby.
Interesting take on this defense. They are very spread at this top floor. Lackey is over at the office wall with some mirror windows in it. You see all that stuff pushed toward office, as you mentioned, and while the Vitality attack is all coming from
Whoa, what is this?
east side. Lackey's got that big-ass hole in the wall and a mirror window to show him what's out on the balcony. If he does get pushed from the east staircase, though, he's a very easy kill, and this drone should find that in a moment. Not quite, but
Well, the one that's going up to the little pillar upstairs and offer, whatever you would call that, the hole, the window above office is going to see him no matter what.
Attackers have recovered their
he's
diffuser.
away. They will find him and should be easy to exploit. They may even just be able to grenade him. Yeah, Panics is heading up to the right spot now.
I think they're doing just that. I hope he has a Jaeger device. Oh, they don't have a Jaeger. There's no Jaeger. Yeah.
Yeah, if Panics gets that grenade correct, it'll throw straight down through. Yeah, look, there we
He
go.
got grenaded.
Like he's dead.
Huh.
He got grenaded, he's down and out. And
Well, down. But oh, they missed the second grenade. It went down the drop down.
must have, yeah, but can they get someone to revive him? Renewals is going up to it, but the east stairs is still exposed. Renewals is on top of him, and Lems is pushing around to the hole in the wall. He's peeking that way. The spray comes out from Renewals, and he actually does get the down, but he hasn't revived yet. So let's look for that. Another kill comes out from Meepy as he takes down Panics. They're putting a lot of effort into taking Lackey out here, and they lost 2 players for it. Big mistakes here from Vitality. Upstairs now, Rise will repel. If this is all he needed to be here in the first place, up through this east staircase, and they'd have had that in a much better situation. As it is, they got a bit greedy, paid the price for it. They still, however, have their Glaz and their Thermite. The attack that looked to be shaping for A went towards office and has collapsed. Revan, though, picks up the first kill of the round for the attackers. It is Meepy. Alem's Claymore takes Zeronic out now. Rises over here, spotted by the hole in the wall, and Renewals gets it out. Nearly team kills to boot, but isn't quite aiming enough. Lackey picks off enemy, and it's down to the last man. That's the diffuser dropped. Revan's actually inside the B site, but doesn't have the diffuser, so does have to fall back. The Renewals is in the east staircase, using that hole that they made through the office wall to keep an eye on the diffuser. Revan now rotating in towards the main corridor, using the holes made by defense for mobility. He may hear Renewals coming up underneath him here. He's careful of the metal staircase. Yeah, look, he just turned around as he hears those footsteps. Looking towards the metal stairs now. Castle got to be careful. Peeks around. Revan doesn't quite see him yet. Snooken peeks through the main corridor, and Revan has got back into the office. Now Snooken, who was full health, is now very low. Revan could easily do this with his pistol now on both of them. Snooken is at the little window. Gonna vault through it. Pistol shot comes on through. Castle barricade's gonna cut out the one. Revan picks off Snooken. He's now just looking for the castle himself. Gets inside the site, and Renewals
so close.
Steps up at the last second, but Revan could have easily done that.
Yeah, that was a valiant effort by Revan, and honestly, kind of a little bit of a throw by Vitality overall. That second grenade missing, and then they tried to apply way too much pressure to that downed Mira. They really wanted to secure that kill, and they just were not in a good position to do just that. Unfortunately, the Ashe didn't take the opportunity to go underneath and shoot her from below. There were no roamers from the Playing Ducks lineup down there to stop her from doing just that. I guess they just weren't conscious of that.
Indeed, tunnel visioned on that down.
Yeah.
Playing Ducks, they're back onto attack, bringing a similar but not identical lineup for this ventilation room. They are bringing that Buck. Snooken, we saw him try and do it on Skyscraper when they were attacking the kitchen and the barbecue. They went into tea room, they went into karaoke, and they demolished the floor. Just as easy to do here. However, their issues back then were finding the people underneath the holes he made to actually kill them. Not so much of an issue here, but at the same time, you've got to get control of that top floor first. And Vitality have done a good job so far handling with the Playing Ducks pushes.
Yeah, it's likely from Vitality we're going to see something, a little bit of a heavier presence upstairs, trying to hold down that armory as if it is the armory site itself until the very last second, where then they can rotate down and not leave very much time for the Buck to open up the floor, if not simply pick him off in the first place. That is what they're going to be going for, though.
Enemies reinforcing one trapdoor. We're interested to see what they do with the second one. Sometimes you see teams leave it open, as that is the way to rotate back and out. There we go, leave it open. Way to rotate back out for the defenders.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser. Attackers are moving to defuse the bomb.
They do have 4 players upstairs at the moment. Not uncommon to see them leave these 4 players upstairs as the total. We'll see whether that's the case or not as the round opens up. Last few reinforcements done. They have got that hole in the wall to toilet as well, so the Revan playing downstairs has got a lot of room to move, and he is now joined by Alem's Bandit. Attacking Playing Ducks, heading largely from the valley spawn across from this south side of the building, will once again look to start their attack through CCTV. Arguably, more wasted time again.
Yeah, Playing Ducks seems fascinated with the prospect of taking control of CCTV, and it's kind of unnecessary in some of these instances, especially when you're taking ventilation. It doesn't give you much room to work with. It's just a staging point to take the rest of the upstairs. But again, you're pushing yourself into office right now.
Right, steps up straight into Renewal's sightline. Renewal's tags him once, but can't finish him. There it is. He tries to sprint away from Meepy, who blew open that wall. They didn't waste too much time getting into CCTV this time. They got in quickly, so they are now able to start pressuring the important parts of this upper floor. Panics inside what would be the B site is being sprayed as the door gets opened up. He knows a Blackbeard's around there. Blackbeard is turning the wrong way for a moment. Renewal takes a lot of damage here from Panics, who now gets to the main corridor, but Zeronic is waiting for him and takes him down. It's unlucky, to be fair, there for the castle of Panics, because Renewals wasn't paying the attention he should have been, and arguably deserves to be dead. But he is not. So the rest of the defense have to deal now with a full 5-man Playing Ducks attack. They have these players downstairs, and Revan C4 on the floor above takes out Lackey's Hibana, which will actually make it tough for them to get through that hatch, as they have no way to breach it now. So, enemy underneath the one open hatch means they have a good control over that. Meepy has a hole in the floor above the ventilation room, but there's no one directly in that site. And Zeronic is still way over on the far side at the moment. So, they have to use this minute to find the defenders that are still downstairs, who are still very much unknown and dug in. LM's answers with killing Zyronic before he gets traded down by Renewals. Revan now an enemy, the last 2. Revan ducked in. Enemy underneath the hatch. Revan is very deep in this corner, going to stick his head around. Revan stays alive. Renewals finished off by enemy as he peeked the exact same angle. Back to a 2v2, and this is a familiar story with Snooken upstairs. He hasn't made any holes significantly in the floor yet, but he's coming in through the toilet. He's going to flank around through this hole. Revan does get seen and taken out with a quick headshot, and now it's all on enemy. He's got his smoke charges left up, 2 of them. He's got a shotgun in hand. Meepy is above the hatch. He's going to flick around, doesn't quite see him at the last second, and a good peek from Meepy shuts enemy out to put Playing Ducks in the lead.
So, Playing Ducks, they established control above the site. They got rid of the roamers up there, and they simply opened up the site and got the picks under the anchors, and there wasn't really much for Vitality to do about that. As you said, it's not the sort of site that you can... there's not a lot of room for you to work with, which is what we were seeing with on Skyscraper. When they were defending the kitchen barbecue, they had a lot of room to breathe. There wasn't much the attackers could do to find those anchors in the last seconds of the round. In this case, that's just not an option for Vitality.
So, Vitality on to attack once more. They're going to attack that ventilation workshop location again. Playing Ducks choosing to defend that downstairs spot this time. They are bringing themselves the thermite to the table. Does have a couple of options on this site, mainly again if the attack starts to come from tellers and bathroom. But they also don't have a Hibana of any sort, so if they do go for the upstairs take, he will be the one blowing the hatches.
It's going to be interesting if they do decide to go for that teller's take. We haven't seen a whole lot of it recently. Most of these teams opting to take, well, as if it's armory, and then simply start looking downwards. Maybe as you said, maybe the thermite is indicative of their intentions to go for said teller take.
There's also the real possibility that they could just push this as if the A-bomb site was, just say, armory, and they will use the thermite straight up on that wall, which is always reinforced. They may not be looking for crazy big options downstairs, and to be fair, it looks like they may not need it. Playing Ducks are doing some odd castle barricades and reinforcements here towards tellers. They're going to have a hole, there we go, through from the bathroom themselves, so it's looking like another very spread out Playing Ducks defense on this bottom floor.
They have been having very good luck with these spread out defenses though. A lot of versatility options for them as a team, and it works in their favor. They are a very dynamic team. They try to spread themselves out and play off their individual skills, and again, it's been working for them so far. It won them the first map, and now it's putting them in the advantage on this second map.
True that. As it is, they are starting to finalize their setup. Saw that bandit reinforcement over by the APC wall with some batteries on there too to help try and waste some early utility. As it is, he has some runouts ready and he is in position for a multi-pronged attack. Rise opens up the castle barricade, starts to pre-fire into the toilet. They know he's in this small room and the spray comes through from customs from Snooken's bandit. But Rise does get out unscathed for now. Up on top he goes, and we use this hole in the wall for another angle on someone around there, and a small one through to waiting room now as well. LM's picked off, but range by Renewals all the way from the metal staircase through this tiny hole in the wall. Beautiful angle, and Renewals makes him pay for it. Rise now inside the passport office, does have Snooken's holes in the wall behind him to contend with. Snooken can't quite see him through them yet, and Rise has managed to sneak his way past it.
And this is the stuff from Playing Ducks that they were talking about, these little pocket strats. I guess you could say really just angles they have been using to their advantage very well so far in this matchup.
Doesn't quite land those shots on Panics, but more importantly stays alive himself afterwards. And now the rush is coming in from Rise on the reload, and it does manage to get one kill, and it flicks up onto Lackey. Panics meanwhile has taken down Snooken, and the attack from Vitality just got some bite to it. Renewals and Meepy are the last two left up now, and they rotate quickly to the wall. Meepy makes a hole in it to take down Rise, and it is back to a 3v2. Meepy taking a fair bit of damage himself from this though, and is now very, very cautiously edging back and forth. The diffuser was dropped on that kill and he knows it. Renewal, is pushing it from a long angle. Glads is over in the waiting room. There's still a minute to go here, so the attacking team can take their time with this, find these last two out, and play it smart. They are still being very mobile, and Panics will make Meepy pay the price though as he moves a little bit step too far. Renewals has a good long angle from metal staircase again, but Revan's smoke grenades are going out. The diffuser's been picked up, and Revan's going to go back to drone now. Panics coming in through the hole in the wall, and Ems is there with him. Sees him, and that's the diffuser down again. Does he know that one got in before him though? Revan's coming around from the metal staircase, and Renewals gets away from it. Panics is coming in, picking up the diffuser again. Renewals sees him. Panics is going to go for the diffuser plant. Into the bathroom comes Glaz, and Revan, quick flick up, takes Renewals out to keep Vitality in a 2-2 score.
That was a great defense setup from Playing Ducks, but unfortunately, Vitality with some explosive aggression just put it into their favor, trading out those two players in the bathroom with that push with the Ash. That was, Playing Ducks, they set themselves up in a great way to counter the exact push that Vitality put forth. But unfortunately for them, Vitality were just they trusted each other well enough that they could trade each other back, and they did just that.
Yep.
You saw at the end there that Sledge, he was planting even though he was coming under fire from the Jaeger because he knew and trusted that his Glaz would cover his back, and he did, again, just that.
Yeah, and it was a very smart push from that, actually, as you mentioned. The castle came around and pre-fired and used up his full magazine, spraying at someone else, and she realized he's going to be reloading.
Yeah,
now he's
exposed.
And, yeah, made it count. As it is now, back to a 2-2 scoreline, and it is on to defense once more for Vitality. They are back onto the upper floor here, and we're seeing the exact same operators on attack from Playing Ducks that we saw earlier. Now, as we said then, they wasted a lot of time on CCTV and then tried to attack through Office instead. So we need to see a very different attack from them if we want to see a different result.
It seems like they have an idea, and Playing Ducks, the team that they are, the way they've been playing so far in this matchup, they have a strategy, and they just go with it. They trust in it, and they invest all of their heart and soul into that one strategy and try to make that work. And I'm guessing, I mean, it's impossible that they'll try to mix it up here based upon how much of a flop that last attack going from CCTV to Office was. But I also think that knowing Playing Ducks so far in this matchup, I don't think we're going to see that. I think they're going to try and force out CCTV Office again. And if they can take out the roamers as they're doing their CCTV take, then it will work for them. But if they let them get behind and don't watch that flank, it's going to go, again, it's going to go against them.
What I want to see them do this time is send Meepy very quickly in underneath, watch that drop from CCTV.
Yeah, no,
because
definitely.
there's no roamers downstairs before, there was no roamers downstairs now, and they should have learned from that. As long as they can do that, they can do the same push on CCTV, and then they will grab these two as they drop through the hatch.
They know that they're going to rotate through those hatches. There's nowhere else for them to rotate.
Oh,
no.
Beautiful pick from Rise onto Snooken. As soon as the door was shot open by that Glaz, the head was exposed, and Thatcher will fall.
But they're not putting themselves in a position to catch those defenders as they rotate through the drops. Not yet, anyway. Looks like they're droning them out the position for the future.
They're going to leave a drone on there so that the dead player can call when they drop, but what do you do at that point?
Oh, the Deagle hole going to be coming out, so it looks like they will be ready for the rotation from the roamers in CCTV.
It's going to have a long time to do it, though. Meepy, however, gets Rise, but Revan will quickly trade Meepy back before losing his life to Lackey. We do go with the trades 1-for-1 then. The roamers coming out successful as they lose the Thatcher and the Ash in a combination. Mirror, Smoke, and Bandit still left standing.
So it's man trades. It's 3-3, but the attackers, they don't have any avenue into the site. Even if they have 1 minute 40 seconds left to work with, and that's a lot of time, they don't have a way to get into the site. And there is a mirror in both situations. You have to go in through Office, you're going to have to deal with Lems on that mirror. If you're going through a wall, which are going to be difficult because you don't have a Thermite or a Thatcher to get rid of the batteries, you're going to have to deal with Ravon on his mirror. So there's not many options here for the Playing Ducks attack.
Zoronic making some holes into the main corridor now. His enemy is actually rotated in towards B. They thought the Playing Duck defense or attack was coming through Office, and they've switched it back up now towards A. That means Revan is now alone inside this small office, and he's the only one they have to shake out. Enemy is still at a distance, but could support this. Renewal's underneath still at the moment, looking for an opportunity. The wall has a hole in it. Zoronic is spraying big holes through now to look for Revan as he peeks around that window. Enemy is still holding it at a distance. Renewal's coming in underneath, has punched the wall open, with the door open, is now spraying through the hole in the floor towards the small office. Doesn't do anything serious here to Revan's position. He's looking for the mirror window. If he can get that canister open, that will change this up drastically. But will Revan still be alive at that point, or will Zoronic still be alive? There we go, the hatch is open. BP has moved across, the smoke is, the smoke is close now. 30 seconds to go, Playing Ducks have to commit to this. Looks for Revan, beautiful pick from Zoronic. Will he fall down to smoke though? Enemy is just using the smoke charges, 20 seconds to go. He doesn't have to peek this. The smoke's going on through. Enemy's looking to come on into the room. Zoronic is right by the window, sees him stand up, and it's a good kill. But they will trade it back with Alems. Lackey, however, is off the diffuser. Renewals is there. Alems gets a second. Can he go for the third? He's downed him! Alems with a 3K, put Vitality up 3 rounds to 2.
Well, okay, Playing Ducks won that round, and then Alems decided that they didn't win that round. He was just kind of like, oh, you know, I'm going to get a 3K casually at the end here with 1 magazine. That was fantastic play from Alems, putting his team back into the lead, 3-2. Oh, boy.
Beautiful push from him at the end. All hope is gone, and he steps up when it's needed.
That's got to be demoralizing for Playing Ducks. Now they're in a position where, okay, we won a round, we took it really well. They faked out the attack onto Office with those smokes. They forced out the Vitality rotation in that round, and then they pushed their way in through the mirror. After they opened up the mirror, very well, that was very well done. Just Lems, though. Just Lems.
Sometimes there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
Step up and move along. They're onto defense now, and they can hold that same room again. Armory Lockers and Archives themselves now. They are up against an attacking roster, which is once again identical here for Vitality, and it's something they have stopped before. Can they do it all over again? Once more, though, they've got that castle mute operation, which where we thought is normally there and officing, they went again very spread through CCTV, through the other side of the map. Lots of rotate holes, and it came down to the wire, with Revan's Glaz being a very aggressive, solid pusher on his own, nearly bringing in the clutch. So they need to look at that, refine that, and deal with it a bit better, because they were also arguably gifted a whole bunch of kills, thanks to the greed Vitality showed to take down that mirror. Vitality won't make that same mistake twice.
And we do have a mute coming out from Playing Ducks, and it's likely they're going to use that to try and hold CCTV for just that much bit longer. The lack of drone coverage on CCTV is going to allow any of the players from Playing Ducks playing in CCTV to, well, be able to fairly challenge one of the attacking operators to try to push in. They also have those castle barricades working in their advantage as well.
Barbed wire placed outside there from Bandit. I like the angle, I like the option. Enemies droning, drone spawned over by that east balcony. He goes, picked it up and then throws it closer towards Tellers and makes sure the options below are safe. Revan heading with that Glaz now, and the Diffuser arguably, up towards the bus as the jump out from Meepy takes LMs off the window. Rookie mistakes, to be fair.
Yeah, you're not covering that jump out at all, and we've seen time and time again when you're attacking the north side of the building, you have to have a beat on that window constantly.
The grenade's going on to Lackey again.
Oh no.
Panics.
There's no Jaeger yet again.
Away. Blows on in. Blows up. Doesn't touch him this time. Lackey is in a much more defensible position. And that will be big here for the Playing Ducks defense. Not only are they a man up already, Lackey is safe, and those grenades are out of the picture here for Sledge.
Lems is also out of the picture, so no clutches for him.
Yeah, and getting their thermite through any walls against Bandit without a Thatcher also a lot tougher now. Playing Ducks playing very, very static here. They have got their positions and everything that Vitality previously had to shake them off of that spot, or those spots, no longer possible. So Vitality need to think up a new idea here, and they've got 1:30 to do it.
You can see how Vitality is wary of that spot, even though there is no one there currently, because of the detriment that it played in their, the huge role it played in their demise in the last time they were trying to attack this site.
So they're leaving the Glaz over there and pushing everyone else across the other side. Nice cover from Ryas, takes Snookin out as he tries to peek onto Sledge. He did open up the castle barricade into CCTV. Do they know Zaronic is inside this corner? It looks like Panix is aware and he sees the feet. Comes on and leaps on in and finishes him off. Zaronic didn't seem to realize where those shots were coming from, and will pay the price for it. As it is now then, the defense are back to being at a disadvantage. Tucked into the bunker goes Renewal. CCTV is where the majority of Vitality sit. Glaz has come back over to join them now. Lackey is alone in office, but enemy is coming around this side. Revan looking for different angles. Tucked inside the corner. The pressure comes out. Renewal's in the bunker. They know about it. The smokes are going in. Panix has an angle towards him. If he steps up, he'll get shot straight out. Smokes are down. They're going to pressure him hard. Jumping over the top. Ash gets the kill. Now across towards the other sites. Playing Ducks are pinned, and the plant will start to go down from Revan. Lackey comes around behind, picks off one. He's looking for the next one. He can't see Rise in the corner. Glaz is there underneath him. He does take the down onto Glaz. Looks for the shotgun and gets the kill, and he will pick it up. Meanwhile, aggressive push from Ash rather than turning around has given Lackey some safety here. He's now surrounded. Slight mistakes here from Vitality, but the smoke's going to get into small office, but can't land the shotgun blast. 1v1, Lackey versus Ryan. Aggressive fight with two very strong weapons. Shotgun coming out from the mirror will miss as he falls into the small office. The reload's coming through, and it's a very slow one with this shotgun. Makes a hole in the wall. Rise is focusing back on that way. Looks towards the door. Has the hash. Looking down. It's a good pre-fire from Lackey. Downs the Ash and has all the time in the world for the defuse. 3 rounds to 3, but again coming down to the absolute wire.
Yeah, fantastic push from Vitality going into that A bomb site. And like you said, each and every one of these rounds, they're neck and neck. Both of these teams super aggressive. All of the players in both of these lineups not taking a single inch of risk or, well, sorry, of, I don't know, they're just not cautious. They're just kind of going for it on both sides, and it's working out for them tremendously. Whichever team decides to get more aggressive ends up winning the round more often than not.
I would argue that that round was lost by Vitality's aggression. They took control of that site really well. They had the plant down really nicely, but then when Lackey appears behind and gets one kill, Rise, rather than turning around to trade that out and save the
tried to
Glaz,
get more
he
aggressive
tried
and
to
ran
push
in.
deeper
Yeah.
into lockers, and as a result, Glaz
Well-
fell down, and Lackey was able to dig in, reload, and reset.
Overall, that was kind of just their fault for not having anybody watching the flank.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they could have put down. Like,
Sledge should have been watching the flank at that point. Once Ash was deep inside that locker area, Sledge should have been watching the flank.
But he just unfortunately wasn't. There should have been one person left in CCTV from the Vitality lineup, but hey, there it is. And now we are looking at, again, 3-3 ventilation defense from Vitality. And the way they were holding this last time was, we talked about this before, put people in Armory, defend it as if it's Armory, and then default back to the site at the very last moment.
Yep.
And it's been working out for, well, it's been interesting for both of these teams.
Time now then for Vitality's defense to set it up all over. Once again from Playing Ducks, they're of course bringing that Buck to the table on attack. However, last time they didn't really use him for much of his floor destruction.
I mean, they
did all the work upstairs beforehand, killed everyone if they wanted, and then they just pushed with him down through the toilets and through the horizontal floors.
He got
in the
a couple picks through floor destruction, but it wasn't as much as you would expect. I mean, with those full mags, you can open up pretty much the entire site, or each and every one of the predictable spots a defender is going to play. And he didn't do that, but you know, he made it work to his advantage. At
He
least.
was still an impact.
Yeah. And we're seeing Playing Ducks, they are circling around the entirety of Armory, trying to establish dominance on these Vitality players, not give them many ways to rotate back into the site other than that drop down in the small office.
So Rise was spotted crossing over now, and that means Renewals is going to start to make some holes towards the Archives location instead. Panics, peeks on around, doesn't quite do anything serious. Renewals' shield will shrug that off. But the Playing Ducks attack is starting to shape onto this entire upper floor. The drones are coming in. Panics is still seen behind that door. I think he's pinned between the metal detector and the door there.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous game for Panics to be playing right now. If Renewals peeks him, gets into the hallway and just peeks him a little bit to the left, he is going to be exposed.
So we'll see who holds further in this game of chicken. Should be Panics, but we'll find out. As it is, he's still got Smoke and Bandit up there with him, with two members of Vitality hidden downstairs, as Playing Ducks are now pushing through Office. But again, they're slow with this. It's a minute 30 to go. Yes, if they go through these kills, it's a great start, but they have to get them all. Renewals has moved away. Lackey gets enemy. That's the smoke out from inside what would be the Armory lockers. In through the B window comes Meepy. Lackey's low because of that exchange. He's looking across towards the main detectors. And the flash grenades are going up, and the grenade followed up by Rise. So there goes the Jaeger. LMs from below takes down Zyronic, but they still need to find Panics, who's held firm in the same location he was at before. Renewals comes around, loses a shield, but stays alive. Way through the wall, Meepy is there. Panics falls. LMs now, the last man standing, came up from below. Is on the metal stairs. Sees Meepy come around the corner. That's one kill. Looks for Renewals, but he's on the other side of a wall. Lackey is there and low, but Lackey gets the shots, and LMs will crumble, putting Playing Ducks up 4 rounds to 3. And remember, they only need 5 to advance here in the Pro League, having won the last map already.
So it looks like we will be having a rehost, as there is unfortunately some connection errors coming out here.
Yeah, Revan crashed apparently.
Yeah. So another rehost. Yeah, but. Yeah, no, Playing Ducks, they're in a very good position to finalize this series. Like you said, they've been, I mean, if it weren't for that clutch from LMs, it would be over right now. That was, I mean, and we didn't, it just seems like Playing Ducks, they didn't get flinched by the fact that they lost on that round, and they've just buckling down and are like, all right, this is it, this is ours, we're taking it. And they had a very dominant performance on that last attack round. They established a circumference around the defenders who were playing up in Armory, and they simply just pushed in slowly, got the picks, and for some reason, it didn't seem like Vitality were keen on rotating back into the site. They opted instead to take the challenges and lose.
Yeah, they didn't even take the challenges in some cases. They just froze up. We saw Panics hitting those metal detectors while his teammates were dying around him. We saw the Jaeger tucked to the back of B. Didn't actually peek a whole lot and was just pinned in there and got grenaded out.
Yeah.
Enemy stood no chance. Lackey just came straight in and killed him off the board. Like, they just froze inside that upper site. The ones that did try and move, the Bandit from below coming on up, LMs tried to make a play from it, did pick up a couple of kill or two, but it was too little too late and everyone was already dead.
Mentally, it may be the fact that Playing Ducks, they're just not succumbing to the pressure. They know they have the map buffer. They don't have to worry if they lose this one. And Vitality, on the other hand, this is it. If they lose this coming round, they're out of the Pro League. Like, that's a lot to have on your mind. And it could be exactly what's coming through here in this matchup.
Could be, but these are all top-tier players with a lot of experience, and hopefully it's not such a thing.
Not a huge deal. I'm sure they're probably very focused on winning this coming round.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Still, it's a tough position to be in nonetheless. If we do see Vitality pull this back overtime and win, we will be on to Clubhouse as the last one, and that, as we've seen, will only bring this game closer and closer. We saw Playing Ducks pull out a win in Skyscraper, but it took them a few rounds to get their footing and to feel Vitality out, despite it being their own pick. They did do it at the end, but they were nail-biting rounds. Now here on Border, it's Vitality's pick, and we've seen different play from both, but arguably it's come down to certain players stepping up for these big clutches like LM Sadis did,
Yeah.
Meepy did on Skyscraper. So no team has shown a clear divide of one over the other. There's been even rounds, there've been ideas flicking back and forth, but then it's still been individual players really stepping up and bringing their team out for a couple of rounds to keep each other alive.
What I'm seeing from Playing Ducks is a lot less individual performance necessarily, and a lot more strategic performance. And not necessarily good strats per se, because some of them, in my opinion, are a little bit overthought maybe. Taking control of CCT, push into Office to take control of Army, that just doesn't seem right. But it's working for them more often than not. And Playing Ducks, they have a refined idea that they're going with, and as long as they stick to that idea, have faith in that idea, it seems to go in their favor. And as long as they can keep doing that,
It's the age-old thing. 5 players following a bad call is always going to be better than 5 players following individual calls, even if one of them is perfect.
And that's the important thing to note here, is that Playing Ducks, they seemingly trust each other indefinitely. Like, there is a very much, they know that they're going to be trading each other back. They know that they're going to be able to push successfully going into these strategies, even if they're bad, because they have faith. And it's similar to what we're seeing on Vitality, in fact, because some of the rounds that they have won is because they trust each other as a team. But at the same time, strategically, Vitality just isn't the way they're handling it. They have an idea, they have a route to go to, but it's just
once it starts to crumble a little bit, they're lost.
They lose the steam, and they have to rely on individual players' skill, and that is exactly what we're seeing here in this matchup.
So all 10 players are back in the lobby. We will be starting in just a moment. Reminder: it is 4 rounds to 3 in favor of Playing Ducks. All they need is this last round for victory. Once they, and if they have that, we are done here. Playing Ducks will advance through to the next round of the Pro League here on the playoffs next week, playing against the #1 seed from Group A.
Right.
Change of plans.
Change of plans. We're going to have to wait a little bit longer.
So, as things settle up, Vitality staring down the barrel of a defeat. We have got our full North American playoff roster. We know exactly who and what are playing through there. Europe still just about left to be decided.
This is the last one. This is the last one, and then we will know exactly who is playing from Europe. And it's going to be, I mean, it's been such a fantastic group stage already, and I cannot wait to see what's going to be happening in the playoffs for both of these regions. A lot of fantastic a lot of fantastic teams, and teams we didn't expect to be where they are. CTM's not in the playoffs.
Not in the playoffs.
What? Huh? And then Ominous, a brand new team coming out of nowhere. Didn't knock CTM out, but they put themselves in a position to do just that. They won a match against CTM. Elevate knocked CTM out, and I don't think anyone really expected that matchup to go that way. We're also seeing Penta coming back from the dead, so to speak. I mean, we saw them again. Season 1, Penta performance, fantastic. They won the first season, but then after that, reformed roster, and they just couldn't get the grip on their, establish themselves as a team. And now they've got a roster that they're seemingly comfortable with. They're very dominant, as well as Sisu, a team that historically has always been number 2 and has been faltering a little bit. But now they've got some new teeth on the line with Kanto Raketti, and I think it was Panari.
Yep.
And with those 2 players, they've been putting themselves in a new dynamic that is something that we haven't ever seen before from that team. A lot more aggression, a lot more just bite. You know, a lot. They can really sink their teeth into another team, and
that new Penta Sisu clash is what I really
yeah,
want to see.
I want to see that matchup as well. That's going to be fantastic.
Be a huge game as far as, 1, just those 2 new rosters go, and 2, as far as the entirety of Europe's fate kind of goes.
Because I want to see how Ominous does against the European teams as well. Because I mean, we saw them beat CTM, right? And it was a 2-0, but it was also a very close matchup. And we still don't know very much about Ominous as a team. I mean, it could have been a complete fluke the way they beat CTM. You know, it could have just been, oh, they got lucky, or maybe CTM was off their game. Who knows? I don't think so.
No.
Really. But that's why I want to see them play against teams like Sisu. I want to see them play against Elevate. I want to see them play against all these other fantastic teams that we are seeing coming out of the group stage going into the playoffs. And I cannot wait to get to the finals with whomever makes it.
Yeah, the bottom line is the 4 teams in North America, so far the 3 teams, whoever comes here, the 4th one from Europe, do advance. All we are sure of right now is that they are clearly a cut and above
what
we arguably expected some of them to be on their way into this season. Let's try it again. All 10 players are in the lobby now. Hopefully they're ready in just a moment, and we will. There we go. Load back into border. 4 rounds to 3 in favor of playing Ducks. All or nothing here for Vitality. They have to win this round and put us into overtime to even have a chance at staying in the competition. Playing Ducks are 1 round away from a spot in the playoffs, and eventually, possibly, a spot at LAN.
Right. And here it is. Playing Ducks. Ventilation Room Workshop, Smoke, Castle, Pulse, Valkyrie, Bandit, Vitality, Sledge, Glaz, Ash, Hibana, and one yet to be picked. This is the round, ladies and gentlemen. If Vitality, again, if Vitality can win this round, they can put themselves into overtime. What's that?
I was going to say, they've previously been running a Thatcher and a Thermite as these two. Now they're running Hibana with no Thatcher, bringing a Capitao for the first time. This is a big mix-up here.
Yeah, okay. Shot in the dark. Capitao, they're going to utilize his bolts to try and block off routes into the B bomb site and simply go for one of those front door into B bomb site plants. They're going to use Glaz and Hibana to open up the wall into Armory to deny that vertical control from the defenders. And that's something that we have seen from the North American meta, and it's possibly something that we will just now see from Vitality. But that is, again, very much a shot in the dark. They could do anything with this lineup. It's a very dynamic, very aggressive, kill potential
It makes a little bit of sense, right? You're on your last legs. It is all or nothing. Go back to something old school, tried and true that you feel like you can do with your eyes closed.
And yeah, opening up.
Question is though, against what Playing Ducks have been doing whole game, which they're still doing here, which is a very spread out, very mobile defense.
Yeah,
is that gonna work?
See, because Playing Ducks, they're focusing on getting those picks away from the site to give themselves the man advantage early on. And if Vitality can't avoid that, it's not gonna matter in the end. If they're going for that front door push, they're exposing themselves a lot.
They are bringing some players in and around towards this APC wall again. Snooken found the drone and took it out, but the wall is reinforced, Panics, so you can't shoot him through that. They are pressuring it from the other side here by Rise, but there's a lot of places for him to hide to make that a thing. So if they want to push in through that main front door, they have to take him out of here. They are heading upstairs as we suspected to get this Glaz situated above the site and droning from the other side of it to begin with. Checking CCTV rooms clear.
Being very cautious on this take, not exposing.
Oh, nice peek. Rise takes Snooken down after blowing a hole in the wall. It's a good start then for the attacking Vitality squad. Lucky though is still around and mobile. The drone from Rise will come on in, and Panics is taking down Zyronic, so they have a 2-man advantage now. We have seen rounds thrown one way or the other by both squads though, so by no means are they down and out here Playing Ducks. The Renewal's still here in the toilet. Lucky close by with the heartbeat sensor to track locations. And then that Smoke remaining over towards the other site on his own. And we've seen the power of Smoke holding some sites, unless it's a karaoke room on Skyscraper.
Yeah.
Minute 30 to go though, and Vitality are starting to shape it up. They've droned around and found where and where aren't Playing Ducks. But as the drones are getting picked off now, they have to start to approach the sites from above and around. Drones sneak on in underneath. Renewal's back onto his cameras. Does hear an explosion go off nearby, but Lucky's still tucked in this corner. LM's trying to spray an angle through and maybe have to firebolt Lucky out of here if he lands this correctly.
Vitality have complete freedom to pivot around the site and establish any angle they want to onto the defending operators. All that Playing Ducks has to do is keep themselves from getting exposed to set angles.
Firebolt misses, the C4 goes up and will also not land. Ash has sprinted herself into the toilet here. The rest of Vitality here pushing through from Customs. Hole in the walls there as Lucky falls to Panics. Rise now peeking in through from the toilet and looking for an option as Revan finds Renewals. Meepy's the last man standing and he will fall to LMs for a comfortable round for Vitality, forcing out another rehost as we have to of course unlock all the sites and everything as we head back into overtime now at a 4-4 scoreline.
You technically need to...
We need to heads tail flip for the sides.
Oh, right. The heads and tail flip. That's what it is. Okay, so yeah. They will be doing a heads and tail flip to decide who's going to be defending, who's going to be attacking on the overtime rounds. And wow, Vitality doing what they needed to do, putting their cards on the table and showing that they can, in fact, heat themselves in this matchup, hoping to get to that third map. That was a good way to handle it. They came from CCTV, nothing what we were expecting to see. They came from CCTV, took out the roamers who were playing up and around upstairs, and then, well, actually, it was mostly that pick onto the Bandit playing in Customs that has opened up the round for them.
Well, they realized there wasn't anyone upstairs. There was no one they needed to deal with up there, so they went, all right, we'll forget upstairs. We'll just take this, as you said, extreme firepower from this roster and just barge our way in from the other side of the site, and it worked. Everyone they found, they killed.
Nobody upstairs from the Playing Ducks defense? I mean, I kind of understand it, but it is an odd way to handle that defense. I mean, as
It
we've
worked
seen
for them before.
I mean, it worked for them before, yeah, but this time, Vitality, they handled it in a way that it was just a little bit different. Having that Ashe play through the, I don't know, I guess the side door. I'm not sure exactly what that call is, but the side door, pushing his way into customs, gave them control of not only completely upstairs, but the other half of the map then. And there wasn't really much for Playing Ducks to work with then at that point. And Vitality, they had complete destructibility options with their Hibana, their sledge. They could open up any hole they want into the site, get any line of sight onto the remaining anchors, and they did just that to put themselves into overtime.
So as the players start to funnel their way back into the lobby, we'll find out their starting sides in a moment. It comes down to this here on Border. 3 rounds to play. First to 2 will take victory. Remember, if Playing Ducks win, that's it. We're finished. If Vitality win, we're heading over to Clubhouse, a map where arguably individual standout plays are not going to be as apparent or easy to spot or even easy to execute, because that map is so overplayed and so practiced and so looked after by every team that everyone knows what to do and when to do it.
Yeah, and there is, again, there has been some minor variation on the way to handle Clubhouse, but it's interesting in that the variation is, it's just kind of a step sideways more than a step in another direction, really, because I guess because there's not much room for an attack to come from. I mean, there's 3 lanes, really. There's the stairway and Moto, that's 1. There's the construction drop, that's 2, or the construction hallway, rather, or tunnel, or whatever you want to call it. And then there's the garage tunnel, that's 3. So those are the 3 ways you can come at a basement attack. And other than that, there's not really much for you to do. We've just seen from recently teams choosing to go for the construction tunnel with their glass, try to deny those angles, then going through the kitchen. And that is something, I guess, new or different, but it's something we've also seen before. So, yeah. Clubhouse, again, like you said, a very refined map.
All right, so as everyone is back in, time now to decide what side it is. It is an orange team Playing Ducks and a blue attacking squad Vitality. Remember, this is overtime. Every bomb site is unlocked. They can go wherever they wish. I don't imagine to see Playing Ducks going straight down to that ventilation workshop so quickly again.
Likely they will go up to the armory. They are going to be bringing a Frost. Is that a troll pick?
I don't know, maybe it's something they have to surprise the aggression Vitality have been showing recently. They are into Armory Lockers and Archives again, and that's the site which they have again come down to the wire on holding the last couple of options. But
it's come down to the wire almost every round so far between these 2 teams, except for that last round that we just watched. Playing Ducks did kind of get a little bit decimated.
I'd like to show you the game right about now as they are loaded in and the Frost is locked, but she has replaced the Mute, so we'll see where it is they choose to put those traps instead. The Mute Jammers never really stopped a whole lot from before.
Nah, they didn't help Playing Ducks much at all. They were trying to use them to deny visibility into the CCTV, but it ended up not mattering. Vitality simply stuck their gun barrels in through the windows and got the picks.
Frost Trap under 1 office window. Follow-up Frost Trap. Where are you putting it, Ironic? In towards CCTV at the moment, and off of our screen somewhere. Lucky doing that double reinforce on office and then mirror windowing as well.
It's putting the Frost Traps down somewhere. We are seeing that same mirror, as you said.
I think they're just sporadically hidden around CCTV and stuff, so it might catch someone by surprise.
He's trying to avoid the camera. He doesn't want anyone to see. There's special secret Frost Traps that only pros use.
As it is. Oh, he's putting. Oh, nice. I like this one.
That's
right underneath the hole the Lackey is making.
Right. That's gonna
office wall.
That's gonna add an extra layer of caution to the Vitality attack if they manage to get past the mirror window in the first place.
So, as the 2-minute 30 mark ticks past, Vitality are up and on the edges of the building again, pressuring through CCTV with their drones and their glads at the moment. Renewals on the other side of that wall is lucky to be alive right now. Revan makes a hole in the wall. It shows him right next to it.
Don't even think he took damage from those shots.
He didn't. No, they did all miss him. It was just that he made the hole right next to his head. He is, however, pinned on top of that trapdoor now in CCTV. Panics, has an angle in from the window and is trying to grenade him out, but they won't quite land in the right spot. Renewal's got to stay very low here, but he is delaying them for a long time.
Playing Ducks is heavily vested yet again
into the window, and Zeronic was hiding underneath the desk to get one. Revan did finish off Renewals from behind, though. Now Zeronic has to reposition away. He's jumping on out. He's looking for one. He tags up the Glaz, but gets finished off by Elems, who was prone under the window. Elems now heads his way in. Glaz is low health, but alive. Looks like he may be going up to jump off the roof, actually. Nope, changed his mind. He came back down again. Lems looking to make his way through. Inside this doorway, Snooken has a small angle. He's low health from it, but if he finds someone by surprise, he could maybe get away with it. He comes around the corner. The window has been opened now, and Lems has an angle in to look through it. Rise did it from underneath, I believe, making a hole in the floor and shooting up onto it.
Right.
And they have lost another defender, so they are 3v4. Minute 10 on the clock. Vitality's push is coming towards A. The Thatcher is going out, and enemy will make a hole in the wall. Snooken tries to pre-fire through the mirror window, but of course doesn't touch a soul, and the wall is open now. Blackie doesn't have a mirror window on that small office, so he's just looking through holes in the wall and trying to get lucky with some spray. Revan is at a distance. Rise has moved across the other side. Enemy prone and smoking. Lem's Thatcher charge, make sure it's clear. VP is at a long distance here. Revan's going to push aggressively in. He, of course, can see through the smoke. He sees Snooken's feet. He's going for the shots, but can't land anything serious. He's still very low. Lems is deep inside lockers, but they know where he is. C4 goes out, stops with a double kill for Lackey. Revan did take Meepy down, but Lackey's got enemy. Now as the pressure comes through, Snooken's there to step up. Rise will fall, and that is a Playing Ducks win on defense.
Wow, that strategically, that went in the favor of Vitality. I mean, Playing Ducks, they invested those 2 players in CCTV, and they were for naught. They basically traded back 1 kill, and that was it. Pretty much worthless. They didn't even waste any time. However, the anchors from Playing Ducks, especially from that C4 coming out from
that was all
the mirror.
smoked. Lackey, I don't think had any way to have seen them go into that corner like that.
It had to have been predictive of the plant. I mean, that is the safe place. If you have 2 unreinforced walls on that small office facing towards the A wall, of course you're going to plant in the corner. And that was just a really good read by the Mira, getting that C4 down.
Nice play indeed.
Overall, just, I mean, 2 fantastic anchors from Playing Ducks.
So, stepping up, putting them once again onto map and series point. They're now attacking with a very familiar set of 5 against this top floor bomb site.
However, by Vitality, that was also a really good read on what the site they were attacking, because they took out those 2 players who were playing in CCTV. They avoided Office entirely because you could tell. You remember from the previous rounds, that was where they would like to go. They like to push into Office into B. But because they didn't know how to handle that mirror window, they opted to avoid that. So, good reads by Vitality, good strats by Vitality, just a good play by Playing Ducks in the end. And now, we're going to see exactly how Playing Ducks decide to handle this upstairs attack. And again, the way they've been handling it is kind of interesting. They opt to go into CCTV and push in through Office, which it just doesn't seem practical. It's worked for them, I think, once. I don't recall. I remember it didn't work for them once before.
It's not exactly been reliable, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's been a close call either way.
So, enemy up on the bookshelf. Has to worry about these glad shots coming in through the door in a moment. Does drop on off to the safer side. Now remember, we've seen this from North America. The pressure comes from a Blackbeard placed on that teller window. But if you can stop him getting up here, this entire B attack kind of crumbles.
So it looks like the Playing Ducks attack is just going to be slanted straight on for the Office. And again, they're going to have to deal with that bandit behind that Mira in the second layer of walls in Office itself. And the problem with that is that, well, he is a bandit. He can bandit trick the Mira, and thus your Hibana is going to have trouble getting through that. Even though you do have a Thatcher, it's going to be difficult.
So there's a trophy system behind it as well. Enemy tucked inside B. They are cautious of someone being up on that cabinet. Blackbeard was watching it from the window. Glaz checks it from underneath. Now is aware that it is clear. Smoke is close, but not up on there. Revan has a hole to throw C4 up and over from inside lockers, and Panix is just checking with his heartbeat sensor on the other side to make sure it's completely clear. They have let Glaz up onto that toll booth roof now. So he has full positioning here and is using this tight angle to try and pick off an easy kill at A. Everyone, however, from Vitality is staying down and safe. Good long-range drone throw up and in as Ash continues to push the floor from below. LMs has shown in the past that he likes to drop down through hatches and flank. Now, if Ash is down there to catch him, that might work out for them, but he has not been able to save his mirror window, as the Hibana charges, you can see, have blown 2 big holes in the wall. Renewals comes on in, looks over towards it. Rise has taken down Renewals, though, and that's the first kill, as enemy's smoke charge will now go over and keep Lackey pinned. LMs peeks up, rises over in office, so it was a really tight angle for him to get that, but Meepy's finished off Panix as he tried to drop through the hatch below. Snooken taking out Rise now in CCTV, giving the attackers the man advantage. Now as they push in through, LMs has traded it straight back onto Lackey. He will continue to trade here and push aggressively towards that Thatcher. Neither one landing the killing blows. The shots are rattling through the holes in the wall. Zeronic cannot help here if he keeps LMs inside goat. They need Snooken to move him away. He looks around the corner, he peeks on up, and LM steps into Snooken's sightline. C4 in hands of Revan is being held, ready to throw in when the plant comes out. But the planter is in the hands of that Thatcher, who is inside office. Meepy in the main corridor is distracting Mira now. As 35 seconds tick through on the clock. Enemy still has some smoke charges and is pinned inside the B site himself. Flying Ducks are trying to swarm around it, but Zoronic comes in. Revan pulls the C4 up. He gets stuck on the wall. Zoronic will survive because of it. Revan does straight up shoot him down instead, though. Snooken coming to peek through the angle now. Enemies here with a shotgun. Snooken's going to see him. The shotgun won't land the first few blows. Snooken gets the down onto smoke. Revan now has to find 2, but he's only got 13 seconds, and all he has to do is stop the plant. Planter behind the bomb. Meepy around the corner. Revan finds 1. Does he know the plant is going through? He's going to push for the kill, and Revan steps up! 2v1. He wins out the round and keeps the dreams of Vitality alive. Finishes his reload with a millisecond to spare.
From Vitality, it's the clutches from the individual players again and again and again to keep themselves in this match. They do not want to get eliminated from Pro League here. They want to bring it to that third map. They refuse to give up. And now they're going to be attacking Ventilation from Playing Ducks. And Playing Ducks, we saw, again,
Playing Ducks got destroyed
absolutely
to bring
demolished.
us here into overtime by defending this site. Vitality are switching out the Hibana for a Thermite here instead, but that won't really make a huge difference as far as the Playing Ducks defense goes. They have to figure out a whole new idea on how to attack this, or how to rather defend this.
Yeah, if they
because they just didn't put up a fight last time.
If they can't figure out a new method here, then it's third map. It's third map again. Like, I mean, and I'm excited to see it, to be honest. This has been one of the closest matchups I've seen so far in this Pro League.
So, the defense from Playing Ducks is setting up. Now remember, previously everyone plays above the bomb site here.
Well,
Playing Ducks have ignored that. Playing Ducks have just gone and left everyone downstairs. Now Vitality quickly drone and quickly ascertain that information and then just push in from below, carrying them up with superior firepower.
Well, they pushed in through below, but they also completely took control of upstairs to deny any roamer possibility like up there. When you forfeit upstairs control and the enemy team knows about that, I mean, you're just giving up half of your play.
Aggressive peeks then from Lackey this time over, looking for an early kill at someone in the passport spot. Does change his mind as they are not down there very quickly and runs back to safety. Castle barricades in different places this time. That wall that Lackey just closed up was castled before. Zoronic is running over to it now and is going to late castle it perhaps when he feels safe. Yeah, late castling it now. So interesting. What did you spend your time on early on?
Vitality's doing the same exact attack that they did last time. They're bringing their Ash down on the first level, opening up that hole into Customs. They're bringing the rest of their team up into CCTV to then take control of the rest of upstairs, but they're being very cautious about it. They do not want to risk anything. This is, again...
Snooken did the same thing. This time he ran away very early on. After that wall was blown open, he got back through the small little office in Customs and are now up the metal staircase, so he's not being picked off by that Ash so early. So this alone, his presence in being alive, has slowed down the Vitality push a bit more. And in doing that, he came up the staircase to be joined by Renault's Jaeger. So the pair of them are now making it harder for Vitality to actually gain control of this top floor. This is a nice change here from Playing Ducks.
Yeah, good adaptation there to actually apply some pressure upstairs and try and deny.
Vitality have 4 players pinned inside CCTV. Enemy will use one thermite charge on the hatch above Customs. They don't seem to realize that it is now empty. There's no one in there now. Rise is now in there, but there's no defenders. So Vitality using a lot of utility and time on this.
Playing Ducks have had a very good adaptation here. They are now conscious of the way that Vitality is attacking the site straight from the south, and they have cordoned off that area of the building. Right, and they're just defaulted back to the site.
Yeah, Rise didn't know he'd seen a person there. He saw the crosshair turn red and tried to spray blindly at it. Misses Zoronic as he runs away. That Ash charge goes off and doesn't hit the barbed wire because of a trophy system. So more utility being burnt for nothing here. Minute on the clock and Vitality is starting to look a little bit flaily. Playing Ducks do lose the first player though as Panics takes down Renewals upstairs. Leaving that man above is helping out, but Lackey's taking out Rise's Ash down below. Now the pressure is starting to mount as the push is coming in from Vitality. 50 seconds to go and the defenders are starting to dig in. Revan has used up all of his smoke grenades. He's now looking towards the site. He saw Lackey dart into that corner. He's going to tag his leg through the wall and shut him down. 3 defenders left up, but one of them's a smoke holding the B site. Upstairs, Panics is still... Actually, no, he's dropped down to join his team now. All 3 defenders are on the floor below, so he has made the right shout. 30 seconds to go. Snooking in one side. Smoke grenades coming out from Meepy to lock out that B wall. Grenades going off to make sure they have a sight line in. Fire grenades go onto Snook, and he's stuck in the corner, and he does get burnt out. But Zoronic takes down Revan and panics. And enemy! And he takes a big 3k. Elem's now in a 1v1 against Meepy. Meepy's low health, but Elem's has to plant. 15 seconds on the clock. Meepy has one smoke grenade left, and Elem's is going to hold this. He's behind the blue mattress. He sticks it up, and there it is! Meepy steps up with the shotgun, sends Playing Ducks through to the playoffs.
The clutches, guys! Both of these teams, individual players, in Meepy, in Alems, in Ravon.
Zoronic! That 3k! They all stepped through in the doorway, and they lined up for him.
That was fantastic.
Huge round.
That was, just huge